and is in horrifying pain because of the pressure inside of his skull and the building fluid. And he screams all day because of his migraines and is in horrifying pain. And he dies at the ripe old age of 4 years and 2 months, right, in St. Jude's or some shit. And he's obviously not growing. He's obviously not growing in any way because he's fucking dead, right? The parents, your answer before was the parents would grow, right? They experienced this really incredible hardship, and now they're better for it, I guess, which is fucking weird.
No. I didn't say anything about parents.
Yeah, but what we were
hold on.
we don't care what side. We're asking very specifically, how does the little baby Timmy, how does he benefit from this brain tumor God bestowed him with at 4 years old?
That's why we need to eternal life. You can't benefit nothing. Death couldn't benefit you without eternal life, period. Okay? There is no benefits in life at all without an eternal life. So unless
but again, little Timmy, if God wanted to, this is important. God could have snapped his fingers and brought innocent little Timmy to eternal life. Instead, Timmy screamed for months.
No, so now... Right, so now you're asking if there is any kind of narrative that could be seen as good that comes from this situation, and then the response is, are you now stating that kids that suffer, right, or people with tumors, right, haven't provided some kind of intelligence for the educational system, right, on how we're supposed to fight these, how we're supposed to help these things that we're supposed to do? Is it not bringing humanity into a better understanding? It's almost like saying God didn't have to make fire hot.
All right, let's equivocate what you're saying. Ready? What you're saying is similar to something like this. Isn't the Holocaust not all bad? Because we learned a lot of things about medicine as a result of experimenting on all those Jews. You know, it's unfortunate that had happened, but we sure had some great leaps forward.
No, what I'm saying is Holocaust is the result of your choices that you were given by free will, which is the narrative of the conversation. So that's ultimately what my implication means. Is the Holocaust is the result of human choices.
Okay, wonderful, but you're still not answering the question. The question, again, this is so easy. Very specifically, is how is little Timmy benefiting from the agony he's experiencing before he dies as a child? What is his benefit? Not society's, not his parents, not the people around him. How does he benefit from that?
You would have to say that. Yeah, you would have to say that there's no benefit only if there's no eternal life.
But God's a dick.
Yo, Star Power, can I try now, bro?
Eternal life, that can always be a benefit, bro.
Can I try now, Star Power?
The benefit is the only. Hold on. The only benefit is that you actually have, right, in life, is eternal life.
You already said
unless
that.
you can prove, unless you can prove life being a benefit, right, without this factor, death being a benefit at all, without this factor, something that everybody goes to, regardless if it's little Timmy or if it's Big Roland, okay, it's something that everyone goes through, unless you can prove, right, that it's a benefit, right, without eternal life, that death is still a benefit. I don't know what to tell you. What I would say is that the benefit of life would have to be eternal life. That's the only benefit. So the argument that you're presenting.
Yo, can I go now?
Wait. I've seen the issue now, right? Power, you don't land. You keep reiterating and reiterating. That's why the interruption, the urge to interrupt happens. Like, try to keep it 30 seconds, 45 seconds max. Go ahead, whoever wanted to reply to stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if there's no benefit? I'd say I can't envision a benefit. What's the problem?
Well, then that would be gratuitous evil.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
Well, that was Rob's original objection.
saying that you can't have an all-good God that also engages in allowance for gratuitous evil, right?
So gratuitous is going to be a
Probably don't
subjective.
want to bite that bullet.
Gratuitous obviously is going to be a subjective position.
Yeah, that's enough.
There's no. I'm sorry.
Analytical.
Excuse me.
You just gave an analytic definition of it, Cockring. You just said
I'm not your mom, bro. I don't know why you're talking to me like that.
evil with no benefit.
I never said anything like that. I said if I can't perceive a benefit, therefore what? And then you said, well, that's gratuitous evil. And then I said, okay. And then someone is and then somebody's making a further claim. Somebody seems to be making a further claim, therefore God doesn't exist.
No,
Wow.
you said that you made a stronger claim. You said, what if there is no benefit? What's wrong with that?
That's a speculation. What are you talking about? That's not even a claim. It's a question.
You asked a question. You said, what if there is no benefit? What would be wrong with that? Did you not? I mean, did anybody else hear him say that?
Yeah, we're supposing a scenario where there is no benefit. What's the consequence?
Well, if there is no benefit, then the entailment is that's gratuitous evil. If you accept the existence of gratuitous evil,
Oh, okay. Well, the benefit was.
argument goes through.
Well, the question. Well, yeah, and I guess if you wanted to, but the question was, what was the benefit to the person suffering? There is no discernible benefit to the person suffering, and then your conclusion is, therefore, there is no benefit, and then that would just be a mistake in your reasoning. So then none of your other entailments obtain. This is all just a waste of time. Thank you.
So you're saying, okay, so you did the thing where you confused like the ontology with the epistemology, right? Like the original framing of your question was, what if there is no benefit? That implies not a seeming of it, not an appearance of it, not an understanding of it. What if there is no benefit to it? What would be wrong with that? So I mean, like, it just seems like all you're doing is like some shuck and jive move, right? Like, you can make inferences to the, like in one of the arguments about the little boy with the brain tumor and everything. In that hypothetical, we were wanting to know, like, how does that kid benefit? Like, where's the soul growth? Because he mentioned, like, basically something like a theodicy, right? And so if 4-year-old Timmy doesn't get any kind of, like, soul growth out of this experience, how is it a good? How is it a benefit?
Yeah, there's the mistake in your reasoning.
That's the whole point.
Well, hold on, Star Power. Let me just finish this up real quick. So there's the mistake in your reasoning because you isolated the benefit to the person going through the suffering. That there must be a benefit for that person in order for there to be any benefit at all, right?
Yes.
And we obviously know that's not the case. We obviously know that in the grand scheme of things. Excuse me, 1 second, bro. 1 second, let me just finish this point real quick. I patiently listened to you ramble on about.
You've only been here 5 goddamn minutes, Concrete. Don't act like you've been here all night, for one thing.
Yeah.
And for another thing...
So sorry, I got to take a phone call. But let me just finish this point before you go back to saying the dumb shit you were saying before. So you're making the mistake of isolating benefit to the one in particular individual. Well, we understand that life is we understand that. Excuse me. Let me just finish this up real quick. We understand that life is not about one particular scheme, right? A particular benefit. So if you think that there's no benefit to be had because one person didn't benefit, then that's the mistake.
Yeah, that means that you just didn't listen to the conversation because you got. Wait 1 second, because you got in here late, right? So that was the only point that was being discussed about. We're discussing what is the particular benefit to that individual. Star Power's original answer was essentially that.
No, that was.
1 second. Star Power's original answer was essentially that society benefits, right? That as a result of the suffering of little Timmy, the 4-year-old brain tumor kid, that society is going to benefit in some way from suffering, some kind of like growth, right? So that's the only question we're asking is, if that's the acceptable answer.
Hold on. Let me interrupt. This is the dumbest room I've ever heard. You guys are repeating yourselves over and over again. This room sucks. I'm leaving. You all suck. Your content sucks.
I just proved to you that it's possible, bro.
No,
I just proved it's possible. Yes, I did. How did I not? How did I not prove that, bro?
Take you down the road with it.
The nigga said it's in a PTR. Like, why can't I live in peace with my fat white chick? Like, why can't why Loving versus Virginia? You fought to be.
Where are the white women at?
You know what I'm saying? You fought to be with. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, there was a movie about it that came out on Netflix, and a lot of black women, they thought it was romantic. They loved the movie. They thought it was a great movie. They didn't see that something negative, something that's going against, black power or any of that. They thought it was something really romantic, right? They really liked it, and I thought it was romantic too. And I was like, hey, I could be that guy with a white chick. I'm free. All right.
Oh, shit looks like Nikita took off. She had to take a call. What's going on, Jason? Welcome to the stage, brother. Good morning, Republican. Welcome. Good morning.
What's good, family? How you doing?
Not too bad, man. Same shit, different toilet. How about yourself?
Shit, as long as I'm breathing, I ain't complaining. And who would listen if it did, right?
There you go. And the ones who listen either don't care or can't do shit about it. So just keep it pushing. I agree. Oh, man. But, yeah,
so
bro.
What we talking about?
So the topic of the room is modern women hitting the wall, right? I've been infatuated with all these social media, independent, strong, modern queens who are crying and bawling their eyes out and complaining about how hard it is without having a man in their life. So I got some clips, man, I was going to play, and we could discuss it. And, just to set the precedent, these spaces that I curate are targeted for men, okay? This is our space for men to have locker room talk. Because you women have not been privileged to be involved or had the privilege to listen to men in the wild, right? In our environment where we don't have, estrogen and Vagisil and this other shit floating around in the environment, this is how us men talk in the locker room. And I get it. You women are offended because you've never heard it. Why? Because we don't talk like this around you. Because we know what comes with it. We know what comes with it. A bunch of nagging, a bunch of eye rolling, resting bitch face, attitudes, huffing and puffing. So when us men get in the locker room and it's just us men, this is how we talk. All right. So it's going to be crude. It's going to be offensive. There's going to be foul language. There's going to be references and sexually objectifying women. This is how we talk. Okay? It's 2024. Everything now is about just keeping it real. All this fluffy, politically correct, bubble wrap, sugar coat, put whipped cream and cherries on top, then days are over with. Donald Trump destroyed that shit, right? So at 2024, it's about keeping it real. So, ladies, if you don't like to hear men talk in the wild and be in their environment and talk the way that we talk, then I would suggest you hit that leave quietly button on top and save yourself a bunch of heartache and emotional distress. Because we're gonna be men. We don't allow women to put feminine boundaries around our masculinity. Them days are fucking over with. So if you're easily offended, you're easily triggered, you can't come up here, and there's no problem with you disagreeing. There's no problem with you disagreeing, right? We welcome that. You have a right to disagree. But if you're going to come in here and rebut and state your grievances, just do it respectfully. Do it maturely. Do it in a coherent fashion and do it with integrity. Don't come up here with the attitude and thinking you're going to tell us what to do and all that, because I'll send your ass to the fucking kitchen. I will send you downstairs to the motherfucking kitchen.
Get back in here and make me a sandwich. Did I not make myself clear?
So this is how we're going to operate this. We're done. We're done. As men, you are not putting your feminine boundaries around our masculinity. Them days are fucking over. But welcome, guys. This is a discussion, and women, if you want to come up and participate, you're more than welcome. You know, as long as you're respectful, we're going to be respectful right back. As long as you're respectful, we're going to protect you. If someone tries to, you know, start some bullshit with you and you've been nothing but respectful, we're going to check their ass. We don't play that shit around here. We got a lot of respect for feminine women who are soft and respectful and delicate and graceful, right? Who bring that presence and that ambiance with them.
Yeah.
Women who are wives.
Act like niggas.
Right. The one now you come up on here with this shit. We gonna light your ass up. I'm just telling you right now, we're gonna light your ass up. Oh man, all right guys.
Where that come from?
Oh, I got the soundboard going, bro. I'm trying to make it a little more entertaining, man. You know, just throw some laughs in it. But
I expect that to come out of nowhere. All right.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to Indonesia if I'm going to Detroit.
Can I mention something about the modern woman?
Yeah, go right ahead. What's up, Republican? And good morning to you.
Good morning, everybody. So
And I go after you, bro.
So the Clown House yesterday, I was listening to Nelson Apega and Jonathan's Million Man Democrat Shuffle, and the problem with the women, we're living in 2024 or 1990. Women started assuming roles that they had never assumed in society before, and now we have this hyper political echo chambers where every woman is now an authority on morals, virtue, and cutting kids' dicks off, as well as CRT, BLM, LGBTQ. They explain to us, and first of all, the biggest problem going is abortion. Go on Twitter and type in abortion provider, hashtag abortion provider, and you will see that it's not men that are going into women's uteruses and cutting fetus heads off and sucking them into an oil barrel. It's women that are doing abortions for women. So men really have to be dehypnotized from basically the moral virtue politicization hypnosis that women are now instructing all of us all day long across all the mediums and all the media. That's my opinion. And if you think that I'm wrong and you're not keen to it or aware of it, just try to pay closer attention to what you're being told all day, every day by women.
Yeah, no, 100%. And this is why us as men need to have these discussions, man, because we need to put other men up on game as to how women operate, man. All the womanese, and we're going to hear that shit in these clips I'm about to play here in a second. We're going to hear the womanese. We're going to hear the bullshit psychobabble. We're going to hear all the crazy shit that they say. And as men, we got to start having these discussions. You're 100% right, Republican, so we can put men up on game as to how to, spot red flags, certain language that's being used, certain actions that are being displayed. Hey, when you see that type of shit, run, bitch! Run! Get the fuck out of there. Get the fuck out of there.
Hey, and I want to say real quick, I wanted to say real quick, Jason, give me, I won't be long.
Go ahead.
Is the problem is this: they don't realize a lot of the women who are in charge of things, and they try to change up the society and make us see things in a different way. It's not gonna work. All we're gonna do is, because it's very hard to fight women because we want to have sex with you too, right? So it's not in our best interest to be in a conflict with you. So right now we're just trying to figure out how to get around your bullshit, but we're never gonna accept it. I'm just letting you know. You. That's why I'm glad that the term "the wall" is in the message, because you're hitting up against the wall. And that's why we see you. That's why you see we got all these problems going on. Is because you're hitting up against a wall that's never gonna move. You're never gonna move us on a lot of this shit. We just trying to figure out how to get back around without beating you over your head because then we won't get sex. Like literally, that's what's going on.
I feel like every other way on that. I want y'all to understand this too. I'm gonna tell you, the independent word is fucking a lot of y'all women know, and this is just the God's honest truth. When the more y'all use independent, the more y'all run to women, and I'm starting to notice that independent word is turning a lot of women to be lesbians. Let's be think women should take the independent word out of their motherfucking vocabulary? Because at the end of the day, you are sitting here telling people that you want to be independent from a man. That means you don't want no boyfriend, you don't want no husband, you didn't want your daddy, you didn't want your uncles, you didn't want nobody that was a man in your fucking life. So if you really think like that, keep thinking independent. But if you do want to be loved, you do want to get dick down, you do want to enjoy life with somebody, y'all need to jump back in y'all motherfucking feminine pocket and act like y'all want it. Because nowadays, like, women are fucking it up with that independent shit. That, for real. Y'all think y'all independent all y'all want to. Y'all be around, get older and have like 15 cats in your house with a beard and wonder where the fuck it came from. You know, y'all know that shit. But y'all know that shit. The more a woman says they independent, the hairier her face gets.
But they're not even independent though. That's the thing. They scream independence from the rooftops, and then when they have a raccoon in their house, they call them exterminator. When they have a leak going on, they call them plumber. They're not independent. They're like, it's crazy. Like, there's a viral video a few weeks ago of two lesbians, and all they're trying to do is jump a car. Oh, that's all they're doing. And one of them starts crying because there's sparks going on. Well, first of all, turn the cars off. Like, what are you doing? But second of all, like, it's just like you realize that these women who and there are two lesbians, of course, who scream independence, that they scream from the rooftops that the patriarchy has brought them down so far, and then when anything has to do with, you know, fixing things or any like animal situation, they're so quick to call a man. They're so quick because they know that they can't actually deal with it. So they scream independence, but they really are the most dependent out of anyone.
Hey, next time y'all talk to women that be trying to say y'all independent, and you be like, you don't need it, and then they be like, I don't need a man for shit. Fuck all of y'all. I don't need y'all, motherfucker. Next time they say that, say, oh, so you must know girls is gonna build your house. Oh, you must know girls is gonna pave your driveway. Nope. You must know girls is gonna create streets for you to drive down. Nope. You. Matter of fact, what the brother was talking about with plumbing just a minute ago. You must know women as plumbers. Nope. You must know master craftsmen that are women.
Jason, you love this. So I was in landscaping. I did hardscaping for about 2 years, and my second year into it, I went to a new company because I wanted to get paid more, and it was ran by a lesbian woman. Okay, crazy. I was like, this is so shocking. A landscaping company ran by a woman, a lesbian woman at that. And when I tell you, she knew nothing. She was like, yo, you know how to lay papers down? I was like, yeah, of course. She didn't know how to do stuff. I was shocked that she was running a company and she didn't even know how to do the things she was asking us to do. Like, she was like, hey, can you guys build a retention wall? And we were like, yeah, and she didn't know what to get. I was shocked that she even was running a company. But, you know, even the women who are in these industries don't even know what they're doing in the industries. It's hilarious.
Man, look, and I know a lot of women try to get on to me because I sit here and say, yeah, shit, y'all, if y'all want to be independent, y'all all supposed to know how to cook. I get jumped down my third. And then they be like, well, why are we supposed to be the ones supposed to know how to cook? Because God made you that way. And what you mean, God made us that way? What the fuck are you talking about? God made us to cook for y'all. Well, think about it like this. If God didn't want y'all to be the nurturers, the cooks, whatever, he wouldn't have had y'all be born with milk and eggs in your body.
Oh, you sound like a misogynist pig, bro.
How dare you?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, though.
Jason, you must have a little dick. You must have a little dick. You must hate your mom. Nigga, you gay.
No, man, and that's the shit that they would say. That's the shit. But until they find out in the bedroom that it's the exact thing. But that ain't the point. The point is, at the end of the day, am I wrong? No.
Absolutely not, bro. You ain't lied yet. You ain't lied yet.
And see, and a lot of these women, and then they talk about relationships and shit. Look, I put it to you like this. A lot of these women's relationships don't work because they too busy putting seasonal people in lifetime membership. That's why the shit don't work.
Hey, I tell you this, Jason. The cooking and the cleaning and all that stuff that women traditionally used to do. I mean, I ain't gonna say that it's easy, but compared to like the other work that's out there, the work that they're doing now, right? Because it seems like a lot of women are not fulfilled with being out here getting it just like a man. That's why you see a lot of them are transitioning over to OnlyFans. I'm seeing women living good jobs, like good, prestigious jobs, to go do OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? Like nurses, doctors, lawyers. They're living
because they're too busy trying to be a part of a trend rather than be the trend.
Well, it's the lazy nature that we have promoted women to be comfortable with, right? Overwhelmingly, women have become lazier and lazier and lazier as time has gone by. Think about your grandmothers, your great aunts, all these older generation women. Like, they had a lot of shit to do. They had to make meals from scratch. They had to clean. They didn't have all these dishwashers and high-tech, high-efficiency washing machines. Like, think about it today. A woman who changes a diaper, she just has to take the diaper off, wipe the baby's ass, throw it in the trash. Like, the women of the older generation, they had the cloth diaper. They had to scrub the shit out by hand, clean that motherfucker. Like, they were sewing clothes, making clothes. Yeah, they actually had real shit to fucking do. Well, now we've got modern amenities that take a lot off of a woman's plate, and they don't have as much responsibility. And then too, for decades, we've told women, you're perfect just the way you are. You don't need to make no change. You're a queen. You're a princess. You're a boss bitch. It's literally participation trophies. You show up with tits and a vagina, and you get an award, you get a prize, you get the attention, you get the praise, you get the accolades. You don't have to do anything or work for it. And this is what I was talking about yesterday. This is why we've seen the paradigm shift so much in the dating arena. And women are becoming more and more upset because women used to value, right? We all know women are born with value, right? Mother Nature's their best friend, Father Time's their worst enemy. So these women are born with value that they don't have to work for, and their only job is to preserve it. They don't have to build shit. They don't have to construct shit. They don't have to gather smaller resources together to flip them and turn them into bigger resources. What's up, brother?
Hey, you hit that right on the fucking head. I was just about to say, who backs up what you just said, right? Eddie Murphy.
Oh, does he?
Hey, have any of y'all seen the where his stand up called Raw?
Oh yeah. That's what I was telling these people, Jason. They think like when you have these conversations with women and they get offended and they they clutch the pearls and they're like, how dare you? It's Kevin Samuels. No, this we have been having these conversations for fucking decades. Go back and watch Eddie Murphy. Go back and watch Richard Pryor. Go back and watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Go back and watch Family Matters. Go back and watch Seinfeld. Go back and watch All in the Family and the Yo, if you go back and look at all this shit from back in the day, from the 70s, 80s, you will see there are hints of the manosphere in there already. Listen to fucking Patrice O'Neal. Listen to Tom Light. Like, this shit has been going on forever. The only thing is we just kept it in the locker room. We never brought these conversations outside the locker room. And now we're kind of fed up, right? We're kind of fed up. Like, holy shit. We've been giving, and we're not getting anything in return. But a bunch of fucking mental headaches, a bunch of chaos, a bunch of stress, a bunch of bullshit. So men are just finally fed up and saying, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I've tried to be the nice guy. I've tried to play fair. I've tried to be, civil. And all I do is keep getting shitted on. So fine, fuck it. If that's how you want to act, that's your right. No problem. You have every right as a sentient human being, an adult American, to act and do whatever you want to do. But I have a right to not put up with it. I have a right to pack my bags up and go elsewhere. I have a right to say Walmart's fucked up, I'm going to fucking Target now. But when we exercise that right, then we get shitted on. We're told that. What's up?
And And not only that, it's destroying the society. It's making the society not a safe place for our children. And this is one of the biggest aspects. Like, I can't send my kids to school and not worry. I gotta worry about the indoctrination because the schools are picking over guess by who. Okay? I can't send my kids out into the street because they gotta run into your kids, the ones that you neglected while you was busy chasing the Mercedes in the house, right? Because everybody's free to take the bag, right? Why and the schools are raising kids
sit here and say they want 6 figures, 7 figures dudes, right?
So now,
You can make money the hard way as a bullfighter or save money with Xfinity Mobile. Connect to America's most reliable 5G network. Existing customers can get a free unlimited intro line for a year when they buy one unlimited line. Plus, get the new Samsung Galaxy S24 on us.
It's from my interest is,
Okay, controllers up. Get the coins. Get the coins. Get the coins. Yeah. Sizzle and sizzle that slippery steak. Sizzle and sizzle that slippery steak. Sizzle. Flip.
Dad, this is making me hungry.
Okay, let's snack. And sip. And snack. Having a daddy-daughter day, that's my way to play. Nintendo Switch.
first couple hours, first couple days, so that way when you start getting the cycle vibes. That's your value. That's your asset. It's your job to protect it. It's nobody else's job. It is your responsibility. So, your assets, your resources, your personal protection. Those are your assets. It's somebody else's responsibility to
Literally the first time that you see intimacy, you're like, ooh, intimacy, oh, I can't take it. And you shut down. What the hell is wrong with you? And we can call it avoidant attachment issues and love bombing and I don't care what we call it. I just know that it's everywhere and I'm going to call you coward. You think that it's okay to awaken something in a woman, to awaken and ignite a love, and then never have, I want to say the wherewithal, the ability. Actually, you have the ability. You have the ability. I know you read all the
Okay, so listen to what this woman just said. You're a coward. Instantly shaming tag. We've seen this, fellas. We've seen this happen all the time, right? It's so common. Whenever a man exercises his rights, we're instantly shamed. The minute a woman gets offended, we're instantly shamed, right? So we're cowards now. We're cowards for igniting something in a woman and then saying, that's probably ain't a good decision long term, and exercising our rights to walk away. Women have a right to walk away. They do it all the time. How many of us niggas have approached women, especially when we were younger, we didn't have shit to our name. We didn't have shit to offer a woman. But we thought, you know what? These delicate flowers, this one's beautiful, she's nice, this and that, I want a shot. And then you go and approach her, and she gives you the nope. And that's fine. That's fine. Women have a right to exercise their options. They have a right to exercise their standards. They have a right to exercise their boundaries. They have a right to walk away. Me and my girl, we talked about this. And she made it clear, hey, nigga, you become lazy, you become abusive, you become a piece of shit, whatever, I'm fucking out. And I'm like, good on you. Good on you. That's how it should be. Should not stay in something with a bullshit-ass nigga. But on the flip side, if you become lazy, you stop doing what you're supposed to do as a woman, I'm out too, motherfucker. Well, you're out. You're out. You're packing your shit, you're on the other side of that door. So this woman is shaming men. Why? And this is where we're going to translate the woman needs, fellas. What she's saying is that, and we'll find out a little bit more about her backstory because she's going to admit it. She's gonna give some more context to her story. You're gonna really understand. But what she is saying is that the men she wants, she's going after, but those are probably the 6-foot niggas, the 6-pack niggas, the 6-figure niggas, the handsome, dominant, persevering, hardworking guys are the guys that she's going after. And guess what? The majority of women are attracted to these same guys. So these niggas have options. And at some point during conversation, maybe after sex, maybe after a date, she displayed some tendencies, and you can clearly hear by the way she's talking, she has those fucking tendencies, right? You can tell she's been traumatized.
Emotional
damage.
What she say it like it really is, man. She got dick whooped, and the nigga didn't want her.
That's it. Exactly. And that's what it is that she has put herself in a, you know, I'll spoil it. I'll give you a spoiler. She's got 3 fucking kids already. She's got 3 fucking kids. Yeah. So, right. She has devalued herself in the dating market, in the dating arena. And now she's worth $3.99, right? She's like these OnlyFans hoes showing her butthole online for $3.99. She has devalued herself and now is expecting, since she put a discount tag on her, she put a clearance tag on herself by her own choices and own decisions, she expects to get $1 million treatment. And this is what's wrong with these women.
She thinks showing off her little roast beef is supposed to be making her get $1 million.
Well, it's the analogy, Jason, and you know, it goes back to these women overvalue themselves because they're so cocky, their heads are so inflated. Because again, you know, and it's our fault as men. We have literally pedestalized these average women who deserve average men, and we've told them you're beautiful. Like, think about fat chicks, man. Like, nobody wants fat chicks. Nobody wants fat chicks. And when I say fat, I'm not talking like thick.
Nothing wrong with a good thick.
Well, I'm not talking thick. I'm talking like 400 pounds, bro. Like 350, 400. Like, nobody wants one. But what does society tell a woman? You're beautiful just the way you are. Love your curves. So there's no consequences. There's no shame. You know, there's no constructive criticism towards women whatsoever. And it's just like raising a kid, man. You know, if you raised your kids and never told them they did anything wrong, and every time they did something wrong, you cleaned up the mess for them, you never made them work, you never made them earn shit through responsibility and chores. Yeah. Right, you're going to be an enabler, and those kids are going to come out shitty. Well, guess what? The same thing happens if you do that to a certain demographic, an entire group of women. You're going to have the same fucking results. So if you listen to this woman, because she devalued herself, in her mind, she thinks she's $1 million, and that's why I brought up the OnlyFans, Jason, because a lot of these women overvalue themselves, and they think they're worth more than what the market actually dictates, and they don't understand that you don't dictate your value, the market dictates your value. Just like Walmart. Walmart can charge $1,000 for a bag of cotton balls, right? But who's going to buy them? Nobody is. So therefore, Walmart has a choice. Either let these things sit on the shelf and don't make any money, or bring the price down until people start buying it. Then once people start buying it, then we know that's what the market value is. Why? Because the customers dictate the value. This is why you have so many women on OnlyFans.
Had 3 babies. They better lower the price.
Right. But this is why you see so many women gravitating towards OnlyFans, and they have to charge $3.99 to expose their most intimate possession, their most prized value possession. They can only get $3.99. If these women were as valuable as they thought they were, why can't they charge $1,000? Why can't they charge $2,000, $5,000, $10,000? Most of them
they know the truth.
Right, and the truth is, you're only worth a Mountain Dew and a fucking Snickers. That's pretty much it. What's going on, Republican? You wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Mountain Dew and Snickers cost more than that, bro. It's wild.
So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get back to resuming the clip here. Here we go.
Go books and you think you're mentally strong, but let me tell you something, newsflash, you're not. Do you awaken these things in a woman and you don't have the wherewithal, I'll say that, to finish it out, to commit, to do the work? Or
okay, what is that? What is this translation? Again, you're a coward. You don't have what it takes to commit and finish things out. So what it is she done buried herself neck deep in bullshit, having 3 kids out of wedlock. Now she needs help. Because she's feeling that burden. She's feeling that stress of having to raise 3 kids on her own, no fucking man, having to work, having to be the disciplinarian, having to be the provider, having too much stress. We all know, fellas, stress is made for shoulders and not hips. So now she's feeling the burn of her decisions. And she wants some Captain Save-A-Ho to swoop in and help her out with her situation. But these niggas, as soon as they see her situation, what are these niggas saying?
Now she want to be
Nope. So now she wants to go back to the shaming tactics of, because you understand your value and you're not going to put yourself in a situation where you take on a liability, and now, you've been in a surplus all these years. Now taking me on is going to be a deficit. You're a coward. You're the piece of shit.
I hate when women do that. Like, you don't want to take them out to eat. Oh, if you broke, just say that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It's all shit. And it goes back to what you were saying too, Jason, is about the independent status. And you, like, I had a firm rule. I don't fucking pay for dates. I don't pay for dates. If we go out, you're paying for your own shit. I'm paying for mine. So then that way, if we don't like each other, we can walk away. Even Steven, nobody's putting more in than the other person because it's supposed to be about knowing each other. When I tell women, the amount of women I've told this, the amount of women that have clutched their pearls, but then if you look at their dating profiles and shit online, I'm independent. I got my job. I got all this shit. I got that. You hear him say this?
I'm a PhD.
Right. So, okay, fine. You're independent. Just like you said, Jason, you're independent. You're leading on all your accolades and accomplishments and your career and your education. That's fine. That is perfectly fine. Good for you. Congratulations. You're an independent woman. Then you don't need to be dependent on my fucking money.
See, I try to tell them, see, at the end of the day, it's real easy to be happy. It's real easy. Like, a lot of these women get into all these relationships for self-gratification so they can floss in front of their homegirls. Oh, bitch, I got a man, all this good shit. But they don't understand that you have to put in work to keep it. Like, a lot of women think just because they look good, that's going to get them to keep the man. A lot of them, and then once you sit here and lay down certain boundaries to these pretty ones, now they want to give you all the attitude in the world.
How dare you?
Yeah, like, so you can come up with all of these standards for yourself, but when a man has standards, now it's a problem for you.
Yes, sir.
And the only reason it would be a problem to you is because he wants you to do a lot of the shit that a lot of women, I ain't gonna say all women, but a lot of women want to be too lazy to do.
Can I say that?
I ain't gonna say all of them because some of them actually work for their man.
Oh yeah, not all. Right, there are some good ones out there. Yeah, it's just right. It's just now, it used to be easy back in the day because women had virtue, women were humble. We were talking about the stepfather scenario. In 2024, it's a bad thing to be a stepfather, right? But we all grew up seeing a bunch of men step up and take care of women and kids that weren't their own. And you used to be able to do that with some level of dignity as a man, right? But again, these women were humble back in the day. They understood, shit, I got a kid by another dude. They understood, hey, I've devalued myself. I'm not worth as much as before I had this kid, and I'm older now and this and that. So if a man decides to take me on, I'm not going to give him a bunch of shit. I'm going to be thankful and grateful that this man came in and swooped us up and took care of us. But now, you hear bitches like this. If you don't clean up my situation, my mess that I made with another man that you had nothing to do with, you're a fucking coward. How dare you not commit? How dare you, get me all buttered up, get access to my vagina, and then once you got what you wanted, you fucking dipped out.
And most of them lie about that. Look, a lot of them keep that the fact that they got kids in the background for a long time before they even tell you. I mean, like, while you in the whole dating process, some of them would even try to sit here and say, I ain't got kids, but then later on you find out they got kids. Like, that's weird to me. So that just shows me that if you could disrespect something that you created, I ain't gonna be shit to you.
Can I just, Jason, can I just interrupt and interject some information? I put it in the chat. It's books. As a man, you will have a distinct advantage over a woman who does not read books. And I put some good books in there. One is the Dhammapada. The boy just left the room. He had a picture of, a man sitting in meditation. I think going to yoga classes are a great place to meet women because when you do yoga and you stretch, what you're doing is, you are relaxing the mind and strengthening the body. And many, many women are just completely hypnotized with their cell phones. I mean, I went out on a date once with a girl. I'm not kidding you. She looked at her cell phone the entire meal. She didn't even look at me in the face. And I was absolutely appalled and shocked. So then I said, well, do you want to come to my place and have a drink? And she said, sure. So she comes to my place and she keeps looking at her phone. And then she says, hey, will you drop me off at my friend's restaurant? I said, excuse me? I said, you've been looking at your phone the entire evening. Call yourself an Uber and get the fuck out of here. And that was it. My point is that we can utilize books, these ancient manuscripts of wisdom. Wisdom is what we need, and wisdom is what women need. And if you look at the picture of the Buddha, it's a strong man sitting in repose, relaxation, harmony, and the woman is wrapped around him. So I don't mean to be self-centered or narcissistic, but what I'm telling you is with superior wisdom, a woman will attract to you like a moth to a candle.
I wanted to tell you guys a quick story, right? I went on a date with a 25-year-old. I'm not gonna say what race, but she tried to flex her OnlyFans to me. Like, that should be a reason why I should want her.
Bruh. Can I just tell a story of a date that I went on to?
What's going on, Bob? Welcome to the stage. Go ahead, brother.
I will tell you the race. She was a white woman, because I tend to date white women. But anyway, that's another story. Anyway, I go on this date, and I meet this woman. And I met her on a dating app, and we met up at the metro station. And I'm being sort of friendly and saying, oh, you know, it's nice to meet you, etc. You know, really carrying the conversation. We get to a restaurant, and this woman's not making any effort whatsoever in terms of interacting. She's being, and this is what really was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. She was being rude to the waitstaff. She was literally being very, very obnoxious towards them and treating them with a huge amount of disrespect. Now, this went on for about 10, 15 minutes or so. And by this time, and it was a Saturday night, so we're talking prime time in the week. By this time, I turned around to her, and I'd had enough, and I said to her, I said, listen, do you actually want to be here? And this is the tone that I used. I said, because your tone so far, the way you're behaving, tells me that you don't actually want to be here. And she's like, yeah, I want to be here. No, everything's fine. And I looked at her, and I said, you either change your attitude, or we're done. She said, oh, I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm just, this is just the way I am. And by this time, I knew this was not going to go anywhere. So I called the waiter over and said, listen, can I get the bill, please? And normally here in Germany, they ask, when they bring a bill for a group of people, they normally ask, they say together or separately. And the guy said, together or separately? And I said, definitely separately.
Gotcha, bitch.
And that was the end of the date.
Good for you, brother. Good for you. Well, more men need to start doing that. Hey, you only get something if you act right. Good for you, brother. Good for you. Shout out to Baba, man. Shout out to Baba. Putting his foot down, not taking no bullshit. That's how we need to be, fellas. And it's super simple. Like, I had to think about this. And Baba's 100% bro. Excellent. Because I'm like, why am I pussyfooting around these women? Why am I tucking my tail between my legs around these women? All they're going to give me is a bunch of lip and swinging necks and eye rollings and lip smacking. That's really what I'm ducking and dodging for. That's it. So you gotta understand and kind of analyze what the fuck it is you're trying to duck and dodge when you're dealing with these women. When it comes to putting your foot down and sticking to your standards, gentlemen. All you're gonna get is a bunch of lip smacking, neck rolling, eye rolling. That's it. Are you really afraid of that? Are you really afraid of that? As a man who goes out, real quick, as a man who goes out and busts your ass every fucking day, tackling the fucking world, you're working 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, right? Veteran men who have signed up for the military to take one of the most dangerous tasks, which is putting yourself in harm's way to defend your country. You're really going to be scared of some lip smacking and eye rolling and attitude and being told you got a little dick, being told you're gay, being told you hate your mom. Come on, guys. Come on. Right.
No.
Exactly, Jason. Exactly. Well, go ahead.
I had to remix it a little bit. I said, hell no. Hell to the fuck, no.
There you go.
Hey, you know something though? All the majority of females that I go out with, they be like really appreciative of the meal that I pay for. Now, usually I pay, because I already know they're going to be real appreciative of it because most of them be hungry and starving. It's hard out here, man. It's hot out here.
You make them sound like little big belly African kids. Them lies, bro.
These prices out here, man. These prices out here. A lot of them, you know, that student loan moratorium is over. So they got their student loans they gotta pay. You know, rent is really, really high. The interest rates are really high. You know, gas is real high. Groceries is really high. So they're becoming a little bit more appreciative of you paying for that meal. There's still a bunch of them that still think we living in the Trump era where everybody got money. They didn't realize, motherfucker, we building back better right now. Everybody broke. So if I'm paying for the meal, you best believe I already made sure that she was a hungry chick before I took her ass out.
Hey, so Pernell, after you feed them, is this what they say?
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, rats, you name it!
Hey, but what's up? Shout out to everybody on the panel this morning.
What's going on, Warren? Welcome, brother. Good morning to you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Hey, Pernell, you really got to be careful, man, because you got to understand that you have chameleons out here. You got women out here, some but not all, few but not most, right? Women in general, women across the board, who portray to be broke and portray not to have money and portray to be hungry, right? That's the chameleon effect. When in reality is, you're not the only guy that they have on the line that's providing real money and resources for them. This is the way things are happening today. If you look at your social media, Instagram, you go to YouTube, you got many, many different people, agencies that have done the research that are saying a lot of these women already have backup plans to the backup plan to the backup plan, and particularly married women. They have a guy that's sitting in the chamber, locked and loaded, ready and waiting in case their relationship they're in now doesn't work out. So don't always, I'm just saying, don't always fall for the, you know, they look broke or I think they can't make it because of the economy. These chicks got 4 and 5 different guys out here that are providing resources for them. They got guys in their phone, the food guy, the car guy, the house guy. They got guys that are lined up that are doing and bringing resources into them. Certain caliber. Now, not all of them. We know it's not all. But it's certain caliber of women that got 4 to 5 different guys that are actually sifting resources into them, taking them out on dates. Right? I was listening, and I teach a class at the University of Texas down in Austin, right? I teach a class every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I was listening to how the young ladies in this class talk. There's some beautiful young ladies on that campus. Trust me when I tell you. All races, all creeds, all colors, all sizes. Some beautiful young girls, young ladies, young women, should I say. Because they're all above the age of 18, from what I know that's in my class. And I listen to them talk. And they talk about how, well, Monday, Steve came, and then he wasn't acting right, so I left Steve, and then I called James, and then James, he came by, but James, he don't have money like that, so I didn't even worry about them too. So on Tuesday, you got to be careful, man, because this is the game that they're playing. Remember, women are like chameleons. They adapt to their surroundings, and they adapt to their environment. See, women are in this position because they have no one else to blame but themselves. The day is gone when they can look at men and say, it's your fault. It's always Jerome's fault that this and that and so forth happened. If you ask the average woman, millennial, right? If you ask them, hey, why is it that you didn't finish school or whatever, especially if she got kids, she'll still say, well, my ex, he got me pregnant. Not we got pregnant or I got pregnant. She'll say, he got me pregnant. Why do you think that's more things job? But they didn't like it. It's always somebody else's fault when it comes down to why something did or did not happen with women. Men don't have that same opportunity to go out and blame somebody else as to why something did or did not happen. Either we make a cut or we don't. And that's the thing that has reared its ugly head in the American society. The veil has been pulled off, the cover veil has been pulled off of the games that women have been playing in this country for the last 6 to 7 decades, right? That veil is gone, so no longer can they blame, Jimmy, James, and John for why something did or did not happen. When you're entertaining these women out here and you're talking to them and trying to get to know them, ask them, hey, so, what happened? Why are you single? How and why are you single? You're a beautiful woman. You seem to be moderately intelligent. You're moderately educated. How are you single? How are you on the market? And listen to the answers that they give. It's always, never their fault. The last guy cheated. He wasn't on shit. He was abusive. He didn't want a relationship. But then you say, well, what did you contribute to the relationship for him to feel that way? You got to deep dive with them, and you got to put them in a spotlight so that they have no other recourse but to talk about what it is that they did. See, women only have their pussies and their fucking reputation. That's all they have. That's it. That's all they got. That's it. That's all. Men, we have to produce. Only women, children, puppies, and kittens get unconditional love. Men only get loved by what they produce, right? This is why you see a lot of men opting out of the market, and I'm going to land with this. This is why you see a lot of men in the West, and particularly in the West in America, opting out of dating American westernized women altogether. Why is that happening? Women do not want to look at the reality of why that's taking place, because they have no one to blame but themselves. They can't blame men anymore. They have to look and say, what's causing our men to leave? What's causing the passport movement to explode? What's causing SYSBM? Say yourself, black man. What's causing these movements to pop up and grow? Why is it that black men would rather play PlayStation, they'd rather hang out with their homeboys, work on their cars, they'd rather go to the gym and work out than to lay up with some people? Why is that taking place? These are young men I'm talking about. Why is that taking place? They have no one else to blame, nowhere else to look. It's coming back in that U-turn, and they got to point the finger back at them. They got to look at the woman in the mirror, and they don't like it.
Hi. I was reading the article from Psychology Today, and I understand that people have their own anecdotal experiences, but I think when you look at it on average, men, if you look at the actual studies on this, it shows that men are actually more lonelier than women.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Go ahead. Yeah, I just think that, and it actually cites some reasons as to why. One of them they characterize as being called skill deficits. So it says for men, this means a relationship skill gap that if not addressed will likely lead to fewer dating opportunities and long periods of being single. There's less patience from women for poor communication skills. The problem for men is that emotional connection is the lifeblood of healthy long-term love. It requires all the skills that families still are not consistently teaching young boys, and also that women are requiring better relationship standards from men. The recurring theme that they found from women aged 25 to 45 is that they prefer men who are emotionally available, who are good communicators, and who share their values. And so the problem that I'm finding, I think the issue here, if I here to tell you right now, it seems like the theme in this room is that the men in this room that they bring in this room are not able to take accountability for their actions. I think this behavior right now is exemplary.
Are we gonna listen to a man that dated another man?
This behavior right now is exemplary of how women may feel or may be receiving your actions, because look at how you're behaving right now. Look at how you're behaving right now. You guys are being extremely rude.
You talking about men that date other men? I ain't got time to hear that shit.
I'm not talking. Just don't bring homosexuality in.
Hold on, family.
I'm literally talking about.
I'm calling you family.
I'm literally talking about heterosexual. What is happening.
Because you're talking bullshit, G. You're talking bullshit, bro. That shit ain't gonna fly on this stage.
This is what women are experiencing. Perhaps this is what women are experiencing, which is why
Hello, Stanley. Hold on. I got this.
Can I land here? I want to land real quick by saying this.
You ran out.
If I could just land here by saying this, I think what really stood out to me is we had Pernell on the stage saying all of the women that he's dated have been hungry, and like I think that just goes into taking accountability for the women that you pick. Pick better women, and they will have better experience.
That's what we've been saying the whole time. Isn't hold on real quick. Isn't that what we just said? We said that men, your resources, your provision, your protection, that's your asset that you're able to offer to women. It's nobody else's responsibility but yours to protect that. So it's your job to vet properly. We have said that a million times, G.
Yeah, he said that, bro. So look at, okay, we got to do this like this. Men, I want y'all to understand something. Y'all will never, ever fully make a woman happy. And I say this because if God made these women and they still do shit to change it, who the fuck is you? Like for real. If the Most High made a woman perfectly in the way that he thought was perfect, and then when they're living their lives, they don't feel beautiful about themselves or whatever, so they change what the Most High made them. So if the Most High can't change a woman's mind, what the fuck make you think you gonna do it? So,
I'd like to address something. Well, go ahead.
Hey, hold on a minute. Let me just address Gorgeous, because he did call my name, right?
And don't call another brother Gorgeous, brother.
Hey, man, that's what he's saying, bro.
We call him G. We call him G, Pernell. Yeah, call him G, bro.
My name is Gorgeous. I just went up and I saw. I know how to read it.
Thank you.
But hey man. Hey, I try to be respectful, right? But
nigga, respect yourself. Don't be calling grown ass man gorgeous, nigga. Come on. Go ahead.
I don't even know if he's a man. I don't even know if he's a man now.
Oh shit, no.
Anyway, the thing is this, right? The thing is this.
What did I just walk?
Just because a woman is hungry, right? Just because a woman is hungry doesn't mean that she's bad or that. Hold on, Gorgeous. Hold on. I didn't cut you off. Right? Oh, shit. Doesn't mean that she's bad or she's not a good woman, right? My job is to get her sitting down in front of me, right? I more than likely I already evaluated that she's going to be one of the women that's appreciative of the meal that I'm going to provide her. And then while she's enjoying her meal, I get an opportunity to spit my game. Ain't that how it's supposed to be? That's how it's supposed to be. I spit my game. I do some more evaluation, try to figure out is she just hungry, or if she, I get to figure it out. Hold on, Gorgeous. Hold on, man. Hold on a minute. I mean, all I do is look at the name. I just look at the name. I apologize to the rest of the room. Because a lot of times when I'm trying to talk to somebody, I just look directly at the name and I just call the name. So I don't really care. I don't try to keep up with who's who. But yeah, what I'm saying is you can't be villainizing me for providing somebody a meal. I never said that she got to do anything with me. She might eat a matter of fact, he warned me that she might just eat the meal and leave. I never said that after she eat the meal, I'm gonna hit her upside the head and drag her back to my place or nothing. I just said I was gonna pay for the meal because she was hungry. But Jesus Christ, man.
But Pernell, I think you're missing the point that I was making. The bigger point that I was making was about accountability, and I think that if you keep meeting the same type of woman and going on a date with her over and over and over, instead of
nobody said that.
But wait. If I can just finish. as like you said, you tend to date women that are hungry a lot, and that is
appreciative of the meal.
That's fine, and I get it. And then y'all had a whole conversation about hunger. But if I may, I just want to get to the point that I'm trying to make. Ultimately, I think that at some point, if you're attracting the same type of person, and you tend to date women who are using you for meals, I think you have to begin self-evaluation and put.
Who said they were using me for meals, bro?
I think if I
you said you just added to the story. You added to what I said. I did not say that anybody was using me for meals. I said that they're really appreciative. No, because you wouldn't let me. You wouldn't let me go. So now you see how it feels. Now you see how it feels when you start like,
hold on. I'm gonna just say this. Now we can ask this. GS.
It's gorgeous.
I'm a brother, so I'm a brother, like this.
I'm a brother.
Okay, hold on, family. Just hold on.
I'm a brother named Gorgeous.
And I dig all of that, but I would like to know, like, what type of women do you date that would sit here and give you these type of mental thought processes about these women? I'd like to know what type of women you date.
I don't have to date women to really understand this. It's twofold for me. I have a lot of women who are my friends, who share their dating experiences with me, and I also happen to date men. But I think that's not relevant to this conversation.
Family, listen to what we're saying.
This is what Pernell his accountability, and I'm like, if you keep dating the same woman over and over and over again, instead of blaming all women or being upset with women or saying,
who did that? Ain't nobody did that.
Wait.
Nobody did that. What are you talking about? I never did that.
Take this as an opportunity to be introspective and look at
yourself. Who blames all women?
About women, bro.
Who blames all women?
See, I got this one.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so GS, let me break this down. Like, you can say your name. You can say your name.
It's gorgeous.
All I'm sitting here saying is, we're talking about dating women right now. So you can hear all of the stories you want to, but as we're talking about actual life experience, so you can't compare life experiences to what you just hear from somebody. It's not the same. Because that's why, no disrespect to you, but that's why I ask you, what type of women do you date to have these conclusions? Because when you're dating a woman, that means you can have a thought process on how they're treating you. If you've never been treated by a woman, then how can you speak on something you've never done?
I mean, Jason, I think it's fair to say he's probably been with some really, really feminine men.
Okay. So hold on. At the end of the day, wait. I want to make this clear. No disrespect to the brother. No disrespect to the brother, but I want to make this clear. At the end of the day, you can be with the most feminine man walking, but at the end of the day, you still got to call that man a man.
I've never been with a feminine man.
What do you got?
What is an alpha man that's gay? How the fuck did that go hand in hand?
Hold on, wait, no. He might be talking about prison and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
I've never been to prison. I'm not.
No. I'm just saying you might like the prison type niggas.
No.
The hood niggas, the hard niggas.
Before we get along any further, here's the reality of what's taking place. All right. If you, in fact, have never been shot before, if you, in fact, have never flown a plane before, how in the fuck can you tell someone that's been shot what it feels like or what goes through their mind at the point of impact? If you've never flown a fucking plane and all you've ever done was ride the bus, how can you tell someone about how it feels to fly a plane?
Hey, Ward.
I can answer that.
Wait a minute, goddammit. See, this is the common sense shit that's lost in the modern day society.
Yep. Yeah, Ward.
This is the common sense shit that's lost in the modern day society. Now, you popped on this stage, brother, and you want to tell us as heterosexual, sane men who have been dealing with women all of our lives how we should and what we should and what type of woman to pick when you the same thought process that feminine women have. That's what you want to do. That's what
If I could just answer that.
Hold on, brother. I didn't interrupt.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
Hold on.
I apologize.
How dare you call his brother a brother?
You'll know when I'm done. You'll know when I'm done. See, here's the reality of it right here. If you have never dealt with a woman who has had a cycle, who goes through emotional system rage at times and doesn't know when to be happy or when to be sad, and it rains and they're cold and all this other bullshit, how can you tell us as men who have dealt with that creature what we should and what we should not look for, how we should and how we should not treat them? You can't. It's impossible. If you only rode Greyhound your whole fucking entire life, how in the fuck did you tell someone that's been flying a goddamn 747 or a 77 Boeing jet, how can you tell them how to fly the goddamn jet? Make it make sense.
Yes. Oh. Yes, sir. I can make it make sense. Are you done? Your phone is going in and out, so I just want to be respectful. Were you done?
Yeah, I'm respectful. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, absolutely I understand your logic there. I think, I don't think you may have been in the
Have you ever had a dream that
wow. Okay, so I started off the conversation with citing a source. Psychology Today actually did survey those same women that you were discussing.
Man, we don't care about no damn Psychology Today.
Excuse me.
We don't even care about psychology. Psychology. We don't care.
Okay, hold on. Guys. Okay, let's be fair. Look. Let's be fair. You know, War Dress G. Let's let G give a chance to respond. Go ahead, G. You got it, bro.
Thank you so much, Taken. My name is Gorgeous, for the record, for everybody. But I know.
Hell no.
But I just wanted to get back into the data. So, like, when
everybody on this stage isn't gorgeous.
Well, I'm actually not speaking about everyone on the stage. I really don't know what everyone's saying.
If someone says, "Hey, gorgeous," guess what? Everybody else on
boy,
stage
nice
is
try.
gonna be like, "Why are you talking to me?"
That's beside the point. I just want to get back to if I could just get back to the point. I would love to.
All right, guys. Let's let G finish. Let's give him a chance to respond.
Yes,
Go ahead, G. You got it.
And my name is Gorgeous, and
bruh, come on, man, stop that.
I just want to say that Psychology Today surveyed those women, or posted a study were citing a study where they surveyed women who wore what they have the uteruses and have the periods and go through the mood swings and everything, and they actually have, they actually were the basis of my argument. And the cool thing about being a gay man is that I date men, so I have similar experiences with men as well. So I'm able to relate. Because I'm able to relate to their, at least on a dating level, their dating experiences, I can speak to these issues. And I think, but I understand how it's like, initially you're saying a gay man. I understand that, empathize with that, but I just wanted to break down how I'm able to speak on that. All I was talking about was accountability, because in the Psychology Today article, they were talking about how there's a gap between relationship skills that men lack, where that may be emotional availability, et cetera, et cetera. I think it takes a little bit of introspection. I think it takes a little bit of introspection, right, for men. I don't think that men are accustomed to looking at themselves. I think a lot of us men are accustomed to blaming other people for our problems, and I think that's doing us as men a disservice. Thank you, and God bless.
You are fake news.
Okay, so listen, man. Yet again, men and women are not the same. Biological men and women are not the same. Period. Point blank.
Hey, War. Your audio is going like really, really far back, and then it's coming like close. I don't know if you're moving your phone or something, but it's hard to hear you.
switch to a new phone.
Let's see if you can get your microphone again, because you are coming in pretty low.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There we go. Yep, loud and clear, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. Men and women are not the same. Biological men and women are not the same. All right? Brother, let me ask you a question. Right? Have you ever changed the oil in a car?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Is that something? Have you ever played in the mud, in the dirt, or did any?
Don't ask him that question, bro. Don't ask him that fucking question. Don't ever ask me. Hey man, we played in the mud, bro. We got question, bro. That's the question, bro.
I think that for most gay men would be no.
What I'm speaking of, right? Even as boys growing up, when you're a child, we like to do, very dangerous shit. We like to climb trees and we like to play rough sports. We're rough. Girls, typically, they don't like to do shit like that. Girls, women, young ladies, typically, they don't want to get dirty and muddy and they don't want to do hard, tedious, sweaty jobs. Typically. I said typically. Here we go again.
Typically.
That's bullshit.
No, it's not bullshit.
That's bullshit. See, here's how. Okay, I'm not gonna argue. One thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna argue with you because I can take it. Just like
take away my pension.
Just like he's doing.
You're gonna take away my pension.
But War, you're telling a woman.
Command Sergeant Major.
Okay.
War, you're literally telling a woman of her experience.
Hey man, get out the way, brother. See, here's the
Hey,
deal.
gorgeous. Most of these men haven't even never rode a horse or a bull in their life, but they talking about rough shit.
Have you ever rode a horse or a bull?
Yeah, I've actually rode a horse before. Matter of fact, I'll post my PTR. I'll be right back.
Okay, you know what's funny about this, and just show us how big of a joke it is.
It is a joke
for a fucking strong ass dude is if he's
The only thing that was a joke, the whole thing that was a joke.
It is a joke because we can look at the types of jobs. We can look at the types of jobs that men and women do typically, and it will pan out because you guys the numbers. You do not have women. You do not have an overabsorptive amount of women working in.
But it's antagonizing this man based off his sexuality.
Shut up.
Now what's that?
You sound ratchet.
No, now I sound ratchet.
You are ratchet.
And you sound gay.
Yeah, she is ratchet.
And you sound gay.
You got long fingernails and shit.
What about it? And you're gay with that snapback on, and you old as fuck with that snapback on.
So here's guys. Hey, I don't see it. So we're gonna again. Let me just pretty. So here's the deal. This room is curated for men. Okay. So we're gonna have our locker room talk. We're gonna talk like how we talk when there's no women around. It's gonna be honest. It's gonna be direct. Okay. We're not gonna placate and kowtow to your emotions. So if you're gonna come into this space, that's fine. You're more than welcome here. You're more than welcome to disagree. You're more than welcome to challenge our opinions. But G has been on plenty of my stages. I have no issue with G. That's why I let him walk in. He's cool to have around for these discussions. Is cutting people off, sir. What Laura's character, sir, is cutting people off while they are in the middle of speaking, sir. That's what drops character. That's what Laura's character is when you can't show any self-control or discipline. Motherfucker to finish his goddamn session and finish his sentence before you open your mic and open your loud ass mic. This is a problem. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is a problem. See, guys, this is one of these ratchet, loud mouth motherfuckers. Here we go. Nigga, bitch, nigga, what? Nigga, the fuck? The fuck, bitch? What the fuck, nigga? We bitch ass niggas. Y'all niggas ain't shit. Y'all niggas got little ass dicks. Y'all niggas hate your mama. Y'all niggas can't get no pussy. Y'all niggas gay. Y'all niggas incel. That's the problem. Cause we do everything right. We do everything right. Y'all do everything wrong, bitch. Nigga, fuck nigga. As I'm packing my head, I'm packing my edges. I got these long ass nails and these eyelashes. All right, so we can start fresh, okay?
Sig, can I ask you, what is the clip of the woman singing the song? I just love it.
It's called Not the Bang. That's what I play when these loudmouth ratchet chicks come in just trying to scream and shout.
Loudmouth ratchet is you.
Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%.
Talking about nothing. But the whole time
you're right.
The whole time you been talking about nothing. But the whole time you been talking
about but sir, you're in the room. You're in the room. You're in a space you don't want to be in. Why did you voluntarily click to come into a space you don't want to be in, sir? Sir.
Like they do in the bathroom. So while you're in your feelings, calm down, sir. Hey y'all. Hey y'all.
You done? Are you done? Can we go back to being? Can we go back to being civilized adults? Can we go back to being civilized adults, sir? Sir.
Are you ready to?
Hey, sir. Sit down, sir. Hey, can we get the BW handler in here? All right.
Your mom with the
So we can bring the BW back to the zoo. Can we get the BW handler in here? Where's the BW handler?
Talk about your mom with the BW handler.
Hey! Drop it. Down, girl. Down.
I just don't know how I'm gonna find a horse to give it a ride.
Hey, I don't know how you don't even know how to ride a horse. Because that just shows how much of a man you are not. Thank you. Any of you men ride a horse? Professional wise? Yeah, that's what I thought. But you're talking about the horse? And it's me?
All right, so we're gonna hold on, guys. I'm gonna extend an olive branch to Pretty MF, a woman with motherfuckers.
This is in the Jefferson Park.
How class Pretty, you are the epitome of class and grace, sir. You are the epitome of class and grace, sir. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have. Hey, sir. We need you to calm down.
We don't play that shit on my channel. You get your big fat ass on somewhere then. I don't deal with these big sassy ass broads.
Let's go. All right. Let's go.
Can I
go ahead, G. Yeah, go ahead, G. You got it.
I think that y'all missed a lot of what Pretty was really getting at. I think
this is a bigger frame, a thicker frame. So this is the fifth painting created from this one original, or the fourth painting from this one original. I'm thinking about after I lift this and present it,
these things don't make you a man if you have these certain interests. So it's kind of a failed attempt to make it distinction between men and women. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. Some of us think similarly and some of us think differently. And human beings also find commonality amongst people who have similar experiences. So I think it's a little disingenuous to try to draw this distinction on gender lines when that's not how we operate as human beings. Right? It's the same reason why you would hire a woman, at a corporation because her skill set is a certain way. I think that you can have people with commonality work together and bounce ideas off each other. That's just a human trait.
Okay, so now you want to talk about human traits and all of that bullshit. All right, let's go to the basic facts of it. Right? Let's go to the basic facts now. I'm just going to point out a few basic facts. Just a few. Right? Who would be more likely to be employed as a city engineer? Garbage man, working on the sewer line. Who would be more likely, men or women?
kissed me when I was a baby. And my mom was like, "Did you just
All
kiss
right.
the baby?"
Who would be more likely to do dangerous, hazardous jobs such as firefighting, police officers, soldiers, men, right? Why do you think that is?
Because we live in a patriarchy that has...
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Oh, here we go.
No.
Okay, Chicago 45th Ward resident. Answer your question.
Hold on, because what you try to do now is you're trying to obfuscate what I just asked.
No, I'm not trying to answer your question.
Okay, I don't want to listen, brother. I don't do all these arguments and all this shit. I'm just trying to give you some information.
I'm not arguing.
I asked you a man or woman question. You've answered. So now we know that inherently, when it comes to doing dangerous, dirty jobs, which may require some bodily injury or bodily harm, we know that men typically are the ones who go.
We're here downtown Chicago. This is the Marquetti building. These are some reliefs that are embedded in the front. It says, in vain I showed the polymath to explain that we had not come as enemies. As the 2 days ago, we resolved to win back.
Who would be more likely to work?
We're here at JP Morgan Chase, downtown Chicago. It says in Grateful Creek.
I would love the opportunity.
JP Morgan Chase building downtown Chicago.
When I finish my question,
It's a pretty nice winter day. It's incredible.
No, that's
okay. Well, see, so this is
that's a high war fallacy.
This is why this is how and why.
It's an either or fallacy.
This is how and why. When we say the numbers don't lie.
You should not even be saying that because I've been in your room. And this is exactly what you do to me when I come to your rooms. You try to straw man me, and you, hey, hold up now, this is my room now. This is me and Sid's room, so guess what? I know what you do. I remember exactly what you do to me when I come to your room. So first of all, don't talk over me. Please do not talk over me when I'm talking. You see that I got the little green button. When I come to your room, which I do all the time, this is what y'all do. You cut me off, right? Whenever I'm trying to make a point, and then you try to straw man me. You did it yesterday. So exactly what he's doing to you and trying to put you in a bracket of trying to answer the question is what you do to everybody else in your room, bruh. So stop it. Don't be a hypocrite.
I think that's dishonest. I think that question is harassment.
I've heard you on several different things.
Or I've never
and what you like, what you try to do, what you try
I'm eating spicy food for a full day. For breakfast, I started off with some young fire noodles, which I actually love, but today I decided to be crazy and add to bomb hot sauce from that Joe Hot.
Yeah, that's what you try to do. You try to do more talking than you listen, so there is no meeting in the middle, no meeting point where we can either agree or agree to disagree.
I understand, but that doesn't mean that you get to force me to answer a question.
I'm not forcing you to answer anything. I simply ask a question.
I want to answer. I want to answer.
I understand communication very well. I understand how to communicate very well, right? And this is how we communicate. I speak, you listen, I pause, then you speak. I listen, you pause, I speak. You know what type of conversation that is?
I guess a conversation.
No. There are many different types of conversations. You have combative conversations. You have communicative conversations. You have 7 to 8 different types of conversations, right? You have argumentative conversations. You have debatable conversations. There are many different types of conversations, right? And then you have conversations where people try and control the narrative, which means they come in and they do all the talking everybody else is supposed to be lectured to and only speak when that person doesn't have anything of relevance to say.
I think that's a little unfair because once I came in here, you guys were playing a whole bunch of songs.
You have spoke more than everybody else. You don't realize you been running your mouth, bro. Like, you literally came in there and you gotta respond. not gonna let us say nothing, we leave. But you wanna come over, you see, even right now when I'm talking, you're still trying to talk when I'm talking. You see the green thing on my name saying that I'm a moderator. But while I'm talking, look, even right now, I'm talking and you're still on mic. You're still on mic, still trying to run your mouth. And we're not even listening to nothing you gotta say because they already done told you we're heterosexual men and we're not gonna listen to any gay guy try to lecture us on shit because you don't know what we go through. You're not a regular man like us, right? But somebody else need to talk. So I'm about to stop talking, and of course I know you about to start talking as soon as I stop. So
Purnell, can I object?
Somebody else talk, bro.
Purnell, can I object? So, Gordon, in this room, it's simply a question of intelligence, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That is, in my opinion, that's why I'm here. I know we're not reading information to the room, but basically the outcome of all the information that I've accumulated is good emotions equals good actions. So I would ask anybody in this room who might disagree with the general consensus of this room to state whether or not they have good emotions in their life. I think it's a very simple question. Are you experiencing good emotions daily, regularly? If not, what's the problem? And why are you having bad actions?
Is that a question to me? Am I allowed to answer the question? I don't know.
It's a generalized question. I mean, if you do want to answer, keep your response brief, 30 seconds, and quickly land your plane like a jet fighter pilot.
I have great emotions. Thank you.
Can we get a reset? Just hold on here. Go ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
I think that this subject of women hitting the wall has probably been in existence for a long time now. A lot of women don't actually now hitting the wall until they actually hit the damn wall. And it's sad because, we all are under a clock. Father Time is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated. And it works, and the thing about it is, when women are in their 20s and early 30s, they're at the best possible time in their life. Even a man, to a certain degree, we hit the wall too. Not like women do, but we physically hit the wall. LeBron's almost 40. He can't play like he used to play. He's going to retire pretty soon. So we have that notion too, whatever. But somehow the sisters feel that they can go on to their 100 years old and still have the same relevance that they had in their 20s. And I always remind everybody that Father Time is undefeated. Father Time has taken no losses. None. None at all. And he always reminds you, whoever you are, he will remind you of who he is. And I think if most women recognize that they're on a clock, like everybody's on a clock, I think they'll get better results. When I was in my 20s, I was in I spent 20 years in the military, but when I was in my 20s, I was a boxer in the military. And I used to get up and run 8 to 12 miles every day. Except for the weekends, and I used to do, shadow boxing and stuff like that. But 5 days a week, I used to run at least 8 to 12 miles a day. Now, I'm in my late 40s. I can't do that anymore. My body won't respond like that no more like it used to. Now, I can still run. I can still do certain things, whatever. But I'm not the same man I used to be, and I understand those. I understand it. And I went to the gym the other day. And Father Time was on my ass like he's on every man's ass and shit after, 20-something years, whatever. But I think that our women need to sit down and have a long talk with some of these older women that have hit the wall. And say, look, if I keep doing what I'm doing, is this eventually going to happen to me? And once you have that honest conversation with yourself, you'll be able to grow. Now, I'm not the same guy I used to be. I go to the gym, but I go to the boxing gym too, and I help the younger guys out and different things like that. and I see a young guy in the ring doing his thing, whatever, and I'm like, and in the back of my mind, I say, I might be able to still go out there and throw hands with that young man like that, whatever. And then Father Time reminds me that your time is past. Let the younger generation get it out. But talk to the younger generation and tell them there's going to be a time when you're not going to be able to do what you're doing. So make the most of it right now. And I think our women need that understanding. I think they need that talk. And I'll go on mute with that. Thanks for allowing me to talk, gentlemen.
And Robert, you're absolutely right. But if you notice, and this is why I like doing these rooms, because it shows what we've been saying to be true, is that when we try to have these discussions, even if it's not directly targeted at a certain woman, just having these discussions, the points you made, which were crystal clear and made 100% logical sense, they get offended and they don't want to listen. They don't want to take heed, that's on them. They have every right to listen and not listen to what they want to. But doing these rooms is proof of what we go through. We try to spit a little bit of game, try to spit a little bit of knowledge, try to have these discussions. You're met with, just a bunch of vitriol, a bunch of being offended, a bunch of playing a victim. So we are unable to have these conversations because we have a group of people that don't want to have any type of accountability. We have a group of people that are so delusional. They you can lay it out for them 1 + 1 = 2, but in their mind they keep coming up with 7. And this is the point of having these conversations and having these rooms, is because we as men are supposed to lead, and I agree with the women. Y'all need to lead. Y'all need to lead. Y'all are the men. Y'all need to lead. I agree 100%. It's our job to lead. But if you've ever been any type of supervisor, any type of boss, any type of business owner that has employed people, you understand you can't grab someone by the fucking throat and force them into position that you want them. So, yes, I can lead. I'm fully capable of leading. But if you don't want to follow, then my leadership is moot. You have to be on board. And if you don't want to be on board, that's fine. That's fine. That's your decision. Your body, your choice, remember? That's what you guys are screaming from the mountaintop for. That's what you guys have fought for. Your body, your choice, your autonomy, perfectly fine. But just understand, when the consequences come to bite you in your ass later on down the line because you've got tunnel vision, then I don't want to hear it. And I'm not going to come in and swoop up and save you. So that's the dynamic that's going on, Robert.
Real quick, I wanted to say something real quick. Hold on a minute, G. Hold on a minute. I wanted to say something real quick. All right. You can say what you gotta say after.
G, you can go after. Go ahead, Pernell. You got it.
Yeah, that's why I put my hand up. But I wanted to say something. I wanted to address something that was said earlier. And somebody was talking about emotional availability and how women are raising their standards, right? Because they want men to be more emotionally available and they're looking for a different type of man. And I'm here to tell you, that's not what most men experience. What we experience is this. They look for emotional availability after the fact, right? Because I always tell the men in here, right, that women do not say exactly what they're looking for. They'll give you all the stuff that they want after they already choose a man. So when they're first choosing a man, they're not looking for emotional availability. They're looking to see how good he looks. If they have a height requirement, they're gonna look to make sure that he's within their height requirement, right? Because they're not gonna date no short guy, no matter what they tell you. So understand, if the short guy is emotionally available, it's not gonna matter. Okay, it is not gonna matter. If they have a monetary requirement, right? It doesn't matter how emotionally available you are if you're broke. Okay, if you're making less than what she desires, she's not gonna care that you're emotionally available. So what they do is they tell you all the stuff in the back end, but then what they won't say because they don't want to look shallow, right? They don't want to look shallow. They don't want to look like us men that are very cute towards a sight and what we see, right? They're not gonna tell you that. They're gonna pretend like as if they're complain about it. He wasn't emotionally available, and why can't he come in and stuff like that. They don't look for that in the beginning. They look, you know, if you go on the dating sites, right? You see it in the stats, right? I have experienced that. When a woman meets me, they don't look to see if I'm emotionally available and none of that stuff. The first thing they see, they're like, ooh, he's cute. Oh, he's tall. Oh, he looks like he got money. And then they go from that. And then later on, after I done tapped that ass already, then they start talking about, oh, is he emotionally available? Is he like husband material? And now they're gonna try to make me stay. Now they're gonna try to browbeat me and ask me where is this going and all stuff like that. In the beginning, they don't care about none of that shit. They don't care about none of that shit in the beginning. But I land right there.
All right, and thank you, Sig, for being dedicated to fairness on the stage. And I want to say this as a person who is not offended, and also as Clubhouse's most favorite, hated, uppity gay. So I think what is happening here is two things. There was one speaker that was speaking before, and he was actually teetering onto the point that I was making earlier. He was talking about doing some introspective work and looking at himself to determine whether or not he's a fit partner or doing well as an individual. And I think that's the key. I don't think it's about gender so much so, because you'll see on the other side that women also want to be partnered, and they look inside to better themselves and do the labor of figuring out their emotions, unpacking their trauma, etc., so that when they do meet the man that they desire, they can have a healthy relationship. So I don't think that gender really matters in this equation when we're looking at this, because there are other sociological factors and psychological factors that I think go into why people show up the way they do. Because Pernell, even in the argument you just made, I mean, there are plenty of men who say they want a submissive woman, but they will have sex with the woman on the first date just to make sure, quote, that pussy is good, unquote. So I just think that, you know, it takes a little bit more analysis. It's going to take a little bit more analysis to really get down to the bare bones of this issue. Thank you, and God bless.
So let me respond to that real quick, right? So first of all, I never made it a gender thing. If you notice, I said how men approach it and how women approach it, right? So I already know that men are visual creatures, right? And the point of the matter is, the majority of time, men get rejected. So we have to do the approaching. The majority of women don't want to approach, right? I spoke about this yesterday. Women do not approach, okay? They rarely ever do. What they do is they come into a situation, they sit down, they make themselves pretty, and they sit down and they wait. And suitors come up and shoot their shot, right? But the problem is this: a lot of women, they don't think outside of themselves. Like, okay, I have sat down, I presented myself, right? But what are the guys doing? Okay, what the guys are doing is, the guys know I can't just sit down and present myself too, right? That's not how it works for men. So you see where the gender thing comes in. It don't work like that for men. You have to do the direct approaching. So how do we do a direct approach? Can we stay from across the room? Can I stay from across the room and see that she's submissive? I can't, right? I have to come and approach her, right? And the very first thing that's going to make me approach her is whether or not I'm attracted to her, right? So I find her attractive, right? And then I approach her. Now it's on her. Now she got to look at me, and she's like, okay, he's attractive. I will listen. Or she's going to say, he's not attractive. Get out of my face, right? When she tells me get out of her face, what do? Go to my room and cry? No, I'm going to go and approach another woman that I find attractive. In the meantime, she's not looking to see if I'm emotionally available, and I'm not looking to see if she's submissive. All we're seeing in the beginning is is this person attractive? Is this person not attractive? And we're both doing that. The only difference is, like I said, is men do the direct approaching and women kind of just make themselves available, right? So the next move. Now we're talking to each other. She finds me attractive. I find her attractive. I approach. She's receptive, right? Now I'm trying to dig into whether or not this is going to be a long-term thing or it's going to be a short-term thing. And sometimes it might start off with me thinking like, yeah, this chick is really beautiful. I could see myself waking up to her every single day. Now let me hear her talk. Let me hear her talk. Let me see what's in her head, right? Now that's not going to stop me from having sex with her. This is how men operate. We are going to still try to have sex. Hold on a minute. This is just the biology of men. We separate sex from relationship. If you're sexy, you're sexy. Okay? It doesn't matter that you are ugly inside. Because at this point, I'm not trying to make you my wife. I'm not trying to make you the mother of my kids. If you were beautiful inside also, then I would go on to try to make you my wife and have kids with you. But in the meantime, all I see is that you're visually and you're sexually attractive. So for men, we would still go there. For women, they're just going to reject you of it. So yes, men and women do have different approach. No one is better than the other one, right? But the point I'm trying to make is a lot of times women try to villainize, and you do the same thing. You try to villainize the way that men approach, right? And you don't villainize the way that women do their thing. And we're both just doing the same thing. We're both doing the same thing. The only difference is I gotta come up. I gotta be the one that come up. But I'll end.
If I can just respond to that, I think this is a good point for us to meet in the middle, actually. Here's the thing. You said a lot here, and I think that the biggest thing that really stood out to me is how you actually agreed with me when you said that this is a result of gender, ultimately, because you're talking about the experience of men and how that is different than women, and all I'm saying is that gender shouldn't be a factor in as how you approach a woman. You know what I'm saying? If you're being approached by that woman, or if that woman approaches you, the main goal, according to some conservatives that I know, not blank saying you all are conservatives, but I thought it was about, building a family and having a healthy relationship and meeting a healthy woman. I think inserting gender into this creates these dynamics where now you feel like you have to go and approach her, and like she has to pretend to be submissive or be submissive, and so it creates this dynamic where she may be afraid to or not feel that she has the license to be able to say exactly what she wants and needs without coming across as not being submissive. I also think there's another point that I really think that stood out to me, and also I did an observation of there's someone in the audience. His name is Egypt Ellis, who was calling me an idiot. He follows a page called Thought House Matters and Pussy Politics, and I thought it was relevant to.
You're going into another subject.
No,
Let somebody respond to what you said at first.
If I could just reel it into what you just said, Pernell, I think that what you were just saying, that you don't care about the woman that you would sleep with. And I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? You need to take accountability.
I never said bro. Stop putting words in my mouth. I said the majority of men are still going to sleep with you. I wasn't talking about myself. Hold on, no. Hold on a minute. You hold on a sec. Dude, I am a moderator. If I start talking, just stop. If I start talking, just stop. This is how you do it in your room. This is how you do it in your room. So stop acting like as if this is something new to you. You cut me off in your room all the time, bro. When you the moderator, stop. Stop it.
Go ahead.
Just stop it. You do it to me all the time. But I'm going to let you speak. I just want to make sure that you understand that I wasn't talking about myself. I said men and women, how men and women approach. We all know that the majority of men are going to take sex if they get it. Okay? So you could either accept that, or you could go on a freaking campaign and try to make men not take sex if a woman is going to offer it to them. They're going to take it, bro. Stop trying to fight human nature. Men sex all the time. So a lot of times, if men get the opportunity to have sex, they're gonna take it.
And thank you for sharing that tidbit. I can speak to this because I'm a man and I'm also biologically male, and I don't think that I'm like
What the fuck is going on?
I don't
What
think I
the
have
fuck
like
is
this.
going on?
I don't think that I have.
No, you're not about to come up here on the stage and speak no information. You suck dick. So you should have nothing to motherfucking say up
Can I please get
What the fuck is going on?
I know. Hold on, real quick, guys. One mic.
Say yes, really quick. Yeah, this is like Adams and G. This is like the weigh-ins before a UFC fight. They finally just stepped up next to the scale.
Oh, I beat that ass.
We ain't ready for the fight, boys.
I don't want to fight.
Okay, hold on,
I'm
real
a
quick,
Christian.
I'm gonna let you go. But yeah, guys, let me tell you something. Okay, look, we can joke, we can poke at each other, make fun, say some hilarious shit. But again, you guys know how I operate. If people give respect, we're gonna treat them with respect. For the most part, G's always been respectful. And when he starts to step out of line, I say, hey man, chill the fuck, and he respects it. So let's treat people with respect if they're giving respect. He's not being egregious, whatever the case is. But let's have the conversation, gentlemen. Let's have the conversation. Go ahead, G, you got it.
Thank you so much, Sig. I just want to say, like, Pernell, I think you actually just told on yourself a little too much because you said in your submission earlier that, you don't care about the woman's, you see her, you see that she's attractive, but, you want to see what's in her mind, which is fantastic. But then you go to the extent to where you say, since you're attracted to her, you don't care what type of personality she has because you're going to sleep with her anyway. And I think that goes to show your mentality, right? Like, if you begin to take accountability and pick yourself up by the bootstrap and stop expecting women to give you a handout, I think that you would do better looking inside and looking at your own behavior. Maybe try not sleeping with a woman that you know that you're not interested in, right, mentally. I think that would yield better results. But when I first came in here, you were talking about how you go on dates with women and, they're hungry and stuff. And I just think that all of that ties into this larger picture about accountability. And so I just want to say I'm also biologically male. I don't feel the need to sleep with any person that I'm attracted to. I'm also a Christian, so that could have a lot to do with like how I see sex. But there's that. So thank you and God bless everybody.
All right, now I'm gonna respond one last time and that's it. First of all, if you're gonna have a conversation, you have a conversation on general terms. You keep trying to make it personal and individualistic. Yeah, you came in the room and I was telling a joke. Stig and everybody else that's in here knew that was a joke, okay? Now you can take it and run with it all you want, but this conversation is not about me, and it's definitely not about you, because this whole topic has nothing to do with you, really and truly. But the fact of the matter is, this is what I dislike about people like you, okay? We come in here, we have a conversation about men and women, okay? I'm giving you a scenario. This could be any heterosexual man, and this could be any heterosexual woman. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be you. The fact of the matter is, it still remains the same. Men are going to do the approaching because the majority of women do not like to approach. And the majority of women are going to tell you they don't like to be approached because they don't like the rejection. Men, we are used to the rejection. We get used to it because it happens all the time. Some reject you, some accept you, okay? Now, taking myself and yourself out of the picture, okay, and just looking at reality. Reality is this. Women are gonna come and they're gonna present themselves. They're not gonna go up to a guy and be like, hey, what up, little homie? I see you over there. I wanna get with you. No, they're gonna come and they're gonna present themselves. They're gonna look pretty, right? And then the men are gonna come up and they're gonna reject the man that they don't want. They're gonna reject the man that they don't want, and they're gonna pick the man that they do want. And then after that, the dance starts. But the dance is this. The men are always gonna go towards the sex, just like the women are always gonna go towards what they want out of you, right? Sometimes they want just sex too, okay? at the end of his concert. Does she really think that Drake is gonna leave all the women that he got to get with her? No, but she's still gonna entertain him. And there's nothing wrong with that because she might just only want sex from Drake. And who am I to come into her room or Drake's room and be like, yo, this is wrong. Stop having sex with Drake. No, that's what she wants, right? So as long as she understands that sex is always on the table for the majority of men, right? And there's nothing that you're going to do. Not me, not you. For the majority of men, sex is always on the table. Why? Because the majority of men, we can't get sex on demand like women can. So a lot of men are not going to give up the opportunity to get sex. This doesn't have to be personal to me. It doesn't have to be personal to you. We're talking about the micro, everybody, the entire society. So if you want to operate in your delusion and think that when a man comes up to you, sex is not on his mind, go ahead. Go ahead. You think because you're sitting on that edge of the bar, on the bar stool and looking pretty, that he's looking at you, he's like, yeah, she looks real submissive. Yeah, let me go over there and see her. No, the very first thing that he's looking at is that he's going to think she looks sexy, right? And then we're going to build on that. Same thing with the woman. When she see you walking up to her, she's like, does he look sexy to me? If you don't, she's not going to give you a chance, bro. If she find you unattractive, she's not going to give you a chance. She's going to act like you bothering her. But when the right guy pop in, right, the guy that she find attractive, then she's going to be more receptive. And then she's going to start looking into his heart and seeing that he's a good man. The same thing I'm doing. The same thing every other man is doing. Well, the majority of men, that is. But anyway, I'll land right there.
Yeah, I just got a question. Come on.
Yeah, real quick, Brandon, I'll let you ask that. Yeah, and that's a good point because I noticed, and when you first started, you said it should be. Well, bro, we can't operate on the shoulda, woulda, coulda, man. We got to operate on how the majority of men operate, how the majority of women operate, how they process things, how they analyze things, and how they react, to those the analyzations. Gas should be less than $1, but it's not. What the fuck am I going to do about it? I can't go to Exxon, I can't go to Mobil, I can't go to none of these places and say, hey, gas should be $1. They're just gonna laugh at me like, well, motherfucker, it is now what? So we can't operate on the shoulda, woulda, couldas. We gotta operate on what's going on and how Pernell painted that picture. That's exactly how it is, man. We can't control reality. We can't control the biological nature of men and women. We just have to analyze it and learn how to navigate through it so that way we get the results that we want. All right, go ahead, Brandon. You got it, brother. Welcome.
Word. What's up, man? Peace of the room. Yeah, so now you just kind of like maybe, I guess, kind of rethink my question to an extent because you said no, woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? So this is a should. So should men, be honest with women as far as the intentions of what they want? Now, they'll get with a woman, right, and they find her attractive. I see, like Pernell said, I see myself waking up with her, on a daily, but then when she opens her mouth, all that might go away, but the sexual attraction is still there to want to have sex with her. Now, should a man be honest and say, look, this is what I just want from you, as far as, just some casual? Or how should a man go about that? Because I think men should be honest with what they want as far as intentions with the woman. I don't think a man should be elusive, especially when it comes to sex. Like he rejected her on the back end, but he didn't tell her that he rejected her for a relationship, but he still wants to have sex with her. It's like, men, we can be, elusive and trying to get the coochie out of a woman. Like I think a lot of men have done that. So as far as but at the same time, I think women don't like to be lied to. And it kind of scars her for the next man that may want to take her serious. That's in my opinion, as far as experience of life. So what y'all think a man should do as far as being honest with women if it's just sex that they want?
Hey, I like to answer that. Sure. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Yes, definitely, most definitely. But now, here it is, it's at 22. Let's play the devil's advocate here. On the other side, should women just be honest with men and say, hey, you know what? I like the fact that you buy me things, you take me nice places, you spend money on me. I don't want to have sex with you. I just want you to be around when I need you to buy me things, take me places, and do stuff for me. If we're going to use that logic, do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, if a man wants to accept that, yeah, for sure.
So what happens oftentimes, more so than not in these conversations, it's a one-sided affair. On this app, what I hear is some men and most of the women come on here and they can talk about what men should do, when they should do it, how they should do it, why they should do it. But then when you flip the question around and you you say, well, what is it that women should do in the scope of a relationship between a woman and a man? What are their responsibilities? What are their duties? You know what you get? White noise, quiet, silent. That's what you get. Or you get the we're going to elude that question by trying to flip it back around. Well, y'all the leaders. Well, okay, fine, not a problem. If we're the leaders, then by proxy, by default, that makes you the follower as the woman, correct? Will we not be correct? Young man?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so now that we figured that out, let's go to this thing about equality. So you want to put all of the responsibility, or 95% of the responsibility, on men, which alleviates the woman in the equation from having small, insignificant, minor responsibilities as to the relations between herself and a man. That's what you just did when you came up here and said, well, should men just be honest and men should just tell women, sure. You should just say, hey, look, I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm not in a relationship, nor do I want to be in a relationship. I saw you over here. I think you're a very fine, attractive young woman, and I would like to have, spend some time, either to get to know you, maybe we could just have some fun, hang out, go places, do things. Sex is on the table, I'm just letting you know. Sure. Women should also do the same thing because we live, quote unquote, in an equal society now. See, women have fucked the game up for themselves. That's what has happened. Chivalry is gone and women killed it. So if you're going to put that requirement on men, you must also then, by default, put that same requirement on women. Cannot alleviate them from the same standards and requirements since we are in a quote unquote equal society. Because women are quick to tell you, I don't need a man, I want one. I can do everything for myself. Well, okay, cool, not a problem. So we're on equal footing. You don't want a man, you just like to have one. You don't need a man, should I say, you just want one. Well, men should operate in the same fashion. This is how the scope of relationships between black men and black women, or women and men in general, have turned out to be. That's why things are the way that they are. That's why this whole gender war is going on, because nobody is being honest with anybody. You got women out here doing the foodie dates. They just entertaining men so they can go to these 5-star restaurants and take pictures and post on Instagram. They're not really interested in getting to know that man. Ooh, girl, look, he got money. Ooh, girl, look, he got a foreign car. Ooh, girl, look, he live in a penthouse. Ooh, girl, look, he can buy me a Birkin bag. Ooh, girl, look, he can fly me out. Ooh, girl, look. That's what they're interested in. They're not really interested in getting to know that man. So when men apply that same logic and say, she got a fat ass, I love to hit that. She got some nice titties. I love to know what they feel like. Oh, she's cute in the face. That's all that really matters, what she looks like on my arm. So we have to apply the logic equally across the board if that's how we're going to operate. The problem is women don't want that logic applied equally to them because they do not want the responsibility of having to perform. This is where we are. Men have always acted in the manner in which men have always acted. There's nothing that has changed. Right now, today, in a modern day society, if a man finds a woman who is worthy enough, guess what? He will do the traditional things that men have always done for her. As long as she's fit, feminine, and friendly. As long as she's submissive. As long as she understands that men have principles that they live by. Be, know, do. Be what a man's supposed to be, know what a man's supposed to know, do what a man's supposed to do. Provision, protection, leadership, discipline, guidance, order, and structure. Those are the 7 essential qualities that men should come equipped with. Now, when you ask women, on the other hand, what are the 7 equal but opposite qualities that women should come equipped with while trying to seek a relationship with a man? They don't have any qualities. Oh, I'm nurturing. I could have children. That's it. That's all they got.
Or they don't even say that anymore, man. You talk to these women, and like I was, in my dating period, bro, I've asked these women, what do you offer? What do you offer? Because I can, like you said, I can run off a list of what I can offer, but when you ask them what can they offer, it's typically their education. It's typically their little lash tech business they done started with all 3 of their clients that they have, it's typically a career. It's some bullshit that doesn't matter to a traditional man that is going to bring all those qualities to the table that you listed. So a lot of these women are clueless. They don't even know what they're supposed to bring to the table to secure a man and retain a good man. And this is why so many of them, you see so many of them, like in the link above, you know, hitting the fucking wall, gravitating towards social media, crying their eyes out, blaming the man because they have no idea what they're supposed to bring to the table. And you're 100% right, or these women want the benefits. They don't want the responsibility. They think this is a fucking buffet where they can pick and choose what they want, take what they want, and then leave the rest at the fucking bar. And that's just not how life works. Again, it's that shoulda, woulda, coulda mentality. I understand what men should be. I understand what women should be, but this is not how they operate. And no matter how much you yell and scream from the mountaintop, it's never going to change. So you have to learn how to navigate with the hand that you were dealt to make it work the best you can in your favor. And that's what men are starting to do now. We're starting to realize, again, we can't put our hands on women and force them into the box we want them in. Women have a right to navigate how they choose, right? They have a right to do that. And this is why men need to stop getting upset at what women are have the right to do. Bro, get over it. It's 2024. They have a right to be who they want, do who they want. But what you got to put stock in is what you have the right to do. And you have the right to not tolerate bullshit. You have a right to save your money when you're dating these hoes. You have a right to put your foot down and say, hey, I'm not tolerating this bullshit ass behavior. You can do it, but you're going to do it by yourself. You're not going to do it with me.
Yeah, that's 100, Sid. That is 100. Everybody have rights. That's why even in the beginning, I started off with Loving versus Virginia, because we had that one person that come in here talking about interracial dating. Dude, I'm free to date whoever I want. Just like you're free to date whoever you want. I can't stop you. Just like you can't stop me. It would be against the law for me to come down to the hood or wherever you live, to the suburbs, and be like, hey, Kimberly, you can't date that. You can't date Bob. Who am I to tell you that? I can't do that, right? So the same way, I can't tell you who to date. You can't tell me who to date, man. I have the right to look for what I want and to find love wherever I feel. Ever since Loving versus Virginia went into law, that is precedent. Ain't no going back for that. And I'm so happy that it was a black man, it was a black woman and a white man, because that gives me free reign. It gives me free reign, because just imagine if it was a black man and a white woman, they probably would have got lynched. But thank God, God in his omnipotence knew what was going to come down the road, and he just worked his miracle, and he made it a black woman and a white man. So now, you have the people who are in charge of society, right? And the person who feel like as if they got the worst grievance. Okay, bam. Y'all got together. Everybody else in between is free. We free. I don't have to put up with nobody's shit, just like you ain't got to put up with nobody's shit. And if I end up alone, with a cabin in the woods, then that's just it. And if you end up alone with a house full of cats, then that's just it. But what we're not gonna do is come up on here and try to villainize my method of doing things while you running full speed with your method of doing things, and you think your method is no. We both got our methods, and you're gonna respect mine. I'm gonna respect yours.
I'm sorry, is that directed to me?
Of course not. No, I'm talking about in general. That's why I went on both sides, men and women, bro. I'm not talking to you.
Bro, stop it. Stop personalizing it. Speaking in general.
No, here's the only problem I have sometimes for now with your method of thinking, and it's the red pill community, because for the most part we both, me being a traditional Christian, right? I believe in traditional masculinity. I believe in traditional femininity. We have the same values for the most part. But the idea of this red pill community of if women only want dick, I'm only going to give them dick. You are as bad as the problem as the hoes, the 304s running around here. The men who allow this debauchery, this, just this terrible nature that women have conducted themselves.
Did you say
I truly feel like. Well, I feel like it's just that's the larger problem, is that there's a lot of men out here who enable this behavior, allow this behavior, continue with their behavior, and then go, well, if they're going to be hoes, they're going to be hoes. You can't save a hoe. And in my opinion, not saying that you need to go marry this hoe, but you don't need to continue to allow her behavior. So this is my problem with sometimes the red pill community.
I want to respond to that real quick. Give me 1 sec, and I'll be brief. Okay, so you got a girl, right? She's 18 years old. She's an adult now. She goes out with her friends to the club, and she see a guy that she liked. Okay, she's like, ooh, that guy's cute. The guy see that she's looking at him, and she's giving him all the little covert things that women do, twisting her hair, smiling at him. She's making sure that she's in a spot that he could see her, right? And he decides to go over there and shoot his shot. He goes over there, he shoots his shot, right? She's receptive to it, right? They decide to go home together, right? They decide to have sex. Who am I? And in what world am I gonna be able to stop any of that? I can't stop any of that. All I can do is worry about myself. If I'm gonna be virtuous, if I'm gonna be a virtuous man, right? And I could tell everybody else, like, yo, this is the pitfalls to look out for, da-da-da-da-da. But ultimately, none of us have the power to stop people from hooking up with who they want to hook up with. And as a matter of fact, women are the ones that choose the hookup, okay? Men choose relationship. Women choose the hookup. Hold on a minute. I'm almost done. Let me land, I'm almost done. Let me land, I'm almost done.
But the idea.
Let me land, can I land? Go ahead. Go ahead,
the idea that women think sex. Are men getting raped out here? Like, that doesn't make any sense. There's consensual sex, and the idea of you're going, well, as an individual, I'm saying, are you saying that you don't hook up with women right now, Pernell? Or you think that you don't go out there? Because the difference is that so many men will say, if a woman wants to hook up with me, what am I going to do? Deny? Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. If a woman wants to hook up with you, one, you say no.
Hey, check this out, though. Right?
You don't have to say no. Like, that's the choice up to the man. Like, if she's offering, like, I agree. But
not only that.
Like, you can take it or leave it. Like, you don't have to take it. You don't have to leave it.
Well, when you take it,
hold on, Keegan. Not only that. Keegan, hold on a sec. Not only that, it ain't me that's doing the choosing for the hookup. They're doing the choosing. And if I'm a guy that says no, right? And that's why I try to keep things unpersonal, right? Or non-personal, I mean. I try to keep non-personal. If let's say I'm like you, right? Let's say I'm like you, Keegan, and I say no. What do you think she's gonna do? She's just gonna find another guy that looks good that's gonna say yes. That's all she's gonna do. So I don't know why you keep trying to put her responsibility of choosing who she wants to go between her legs on me. It's not I could say no all day, but as long as there's guys who are gonna say yes, then it's like almost like you put in the ball. This woman is choosing, because guess what? More than one man comes up to her and tries to proposition her, and she know how to say no to those guys. When an ugly guy show up, she be like, hell no, dude, get out my face. Okay? When a decent guy, a church-faring guy, a hard-working guy, you name it, she has the choice to choose him or not. She says no, and then when a piece of shit that don't care about just beating her down and leaving comes, and she finds that he's cute, and she says yes, guess what? He beats her down and he leaves. So you're not gonna be able to go into her room or his room and pull him out of her, because then that will make you the problem. Leave these people alone. Let these people. The only thing I say is this, right? When he shoot her club up and she get pregnant and she had that baby and he dip out, we shouldn't help her. As a society, we should leave her in her bed that she made. That's the only thing I say. And if she put him on child support and he can't pay, throw his ass in jail. Both ends. And if she can't take care of the kids that she had with him, we
we take both of them. We take the kids from both of them.
If you as a man to just shoot the club up and not take care of responsibility, that's kind of wild. When it comes to pregnancy, I think it's both parties. Like come on now.
But that's what I said. That's what I said. I said throw him in jail.
You said, throw the man in jail. All right, I hear you.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, if he can't pay to take care of his kids, we already got laws that throw him in jail. The only difference is when the woman fall on hard times, we got SNAP and all this other stuff. We can cut all that shit off and
I think what you're saying, man.
Yeah, we can cut all that shit off, bro. We can treat both of them motherfuckers the same.
Right. And he's got a good point. That's what he's saying is that we have consequences for the men who don't financially provide, but when these women can't financially provide, we give them a way out. We give them a safety net. So we're going to talk about equality, which all these women are screaming for equality. Then fine, let's have equality. The problem is, it's just like what War said earlier. It's a buffet. They want to pick all the benefits of equality, but want to leave all the responsibility and consequences behind. So again, women aren't stupid. Women can see that, hey, there's a bunch of women out here having kids out of wedlock, and the men don't stay. But when the man is married, he only leaves 20% of the time. Men only file for divorce 20% of the time. What these women are choosing to do is put all their eggs in the baby mama basket, and they cry. And when they see an abundance of women around them, falling on hard times, the man doesn't stick around. Instead of choosing to put their eggs in the basket where the probabilities in their favor, which is if you require a man first to marry you, you only got a 20% chance of him bailing out on you. But if you go the baby mama route, you got an 80% chance. It's like these bitches are going on Amazon and purposefully buying all 1-star review products, bro. They choose to refuse to put stock in the 5-star product, knowing that, hey, if it's got 5 stars, your odds and probability are better that you're going to get a product that you actually like, that you're actually going to enjoy and put to use. Nope, I'm going to order all 1-star products and hope and manifest and hope the earth signs align and the moon signs align and my Virgo, Aquarius, Taurus come through for me. And those 1-star review products are going to be 5-star review products. This is essentially what these women are doing. This is a loom.
I get that women don't necessarily get a consequence as far as maybe disciplining them in a manner maybe as jail or maybe even fining them for not being able to take care of a child you let a man impregnate you. I'm just talking about on the other side of the man. It's like, is that their consequence for letting their seed go, not being responsible with their seed, and shooting a club up in a woman that they didn't want to have children with? Like I like, as far as the responsibility for the man, I'm just saying on that side, I don't think they should go to jail. They should get some type of discipline. Hold their money up or something like that. But as far as like you as a man, you didn't want no children with this woman. You knew that. Who told you to shoot the club up? My guy. When it comes to pregnancy, I think both parties should definitely be held accountable. There definitely should be some disciplinary methods for women, after the fact. But as far as a man, getting caught up and being back child support and then go to jail, holding up his passport, anything like that, that's kind of like the consequence of you being reckless with your seed, my guy. That's how I'm looking at it. That's my opinion on it. Like, as far as pregnancy and childbirth, I think both parties play an equal role because you're bringing another person into the world who didn't have to be here. So, pregnancy and child rearing is both parties' fault.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It is both parties' fault because y'all both decided to have sex unprotected, right? She had all this birth control. You knew you should have put a condom on, right? You knew you didn't want to be with this chick long term, so you should have put a condom on, right? Now, I don't really think that you should go to jail for that, right? I don't think that you should go to jail for that. But the reality is, you will go to jail for that. Okay, in a lot of the states, you will go to jail for that. So I can't live in what should be. I'm gonna live in what is, and what is you go shooting up the club with the wrong chick, you might end up in jail. Okay, so on some child support or some shit, right? So that's just how it is. Now on the other end, right? On the other end of that that's where the lack of accountability comes in, right? Because now. And not only the lack of accountability, we help them have lack of accountability by giving them handouts, talking about this for the kids. Dude, if you look at the drastic difference in how we treat bad mothers and bad fathers, bro, it's literally appalling, right? It's appalling.
on a man that can't perform his obligatory duties as a father and a woman who cannot perform her obligatory duties as a mother. It's crazy. It's literally one of the biggest EO violations that we have in this country, and a lot of people they don't even see it. They just think it's normal for us to give out SNAP benefits, give out WIC, food stamps, all this stuff to the women, and then put the man in jail. Like, it's crazy. You understand? Like, they both decided to have sex, right? The man didn't rape her. He didn't force her to have sex. She chose him over other men who would have stayed. And I'm not telling you that you don't have the right. You are fully within your right to choose whoever you want to choose to be with. Okay? But what I don't understand is why we gotta help you pay for the consequences. Like, we shouldn't help none of y'all pay for the consequences. As a matter of fact, we should stay out of it completely. The only time we should get involved is if there's violence involved or if there's harm to the kids. And most times, we should just take the goddamn kids. Just take them from both of them. You know what I'm saying? But if he's beating her ass, then we got to get involved because we don't allow violence in our society. Okay? But we shouldn't be giving them nothing. We shouldn't be giving them nothing. Like, yo, figure it out. You figured out how to get him in your room. He figured out how to get to your room. You figure it out.
You know, in Chicago, this Muslim guy just murdered his wife and 3 daughters. And so there's a saying that there's no sin in wisdom so terrible as anger. And, you know, when you mix alcohol, cannabis, guns, and then think about your life outside of Clown House, where you realize how people on Clown House, you know, are hyperbolic, and insane. I mean, just imagine somebody with a gun in your real life. I mean, domestic violence and women perpetrating violence on men is one of those completely underreported, non-reported facts. But you ask any police officer that deals with domestic violence, and he'll tell you the real statistics. It's a lot of women who are extraordinarily violent. And that is, you know, people don't like that fact, but, you know, as Homo sapiens or whatever, I mean, and you see shot callers and I mean, here in Chicago, I see girls, you know, stick drugs in their clothing while the men, you know, do the deal. And then once the deal goes down, they get the woman to, you know, deliver the product. I mean, they work in tag teams. So I'll post the link to this guy who murdered his wife and 3 daughters. And these were beautiful young women. And he spared his son. It was an honor killing.
What's the motive?
I'll post the link for you, and you can enjoy the article. And but you know, I will post the link, and you can determine the motive for yourself.
Is there ever a good motive to kill a kid?
No, of course not. But I'm just thinking, was he insane? Was there some honor killing involved, etc.? These kinds of things.
Bro, put that guy under the jail. We do not allow the killing of children and innocence in our society. We gotta put a foot down on this bullshit. Like, take your barbaric ass back to where the fuck you come from with your honor killings and all that nonsense. This is the United States of America. We protect our children. At least we used to.
Yeah, we used to. Keywords.
So we don't protect our children now? Is that what you guys are?
Now you want drag queens to read them bedtime stories, so I don't know.
I mean, that's pretty extreme, but go ahead.
Okay, here's an example, a more clear example. We just had a big story about Epstein Island. What was Epstein doing on the island? He was messing with children, underage children. And what are we doing about it? Nothing. Nothing. We think it's a salacious story. We still got people over here listening to Hillary Clinton, right? After we don't found out that Bill Clinton was down there 1 million times, he liked him young and all kind of nonsense, and we're not even angry about it. We just over there, like don't we protect children no more? Like, we should be all up in arms about this shit. But what are we doing? Nothing. Back in the day, in the 1980s, in the 1970s, dude, we would have been livid. I'm livid. But
sentiment that I share, along with, I mean, pretty much anybody. I mean, I don't think anybody likes that, anything that has to do with human trafficking or sex trafficking, that's for sure. So we can at least all agree on that, right? But I just wanted to shed some light on the fact that there are actually some agencies that do some pretty clandestine kind of covert operations that are actually out there kind of hunting these people down. So the only problem I have, and this is where I agree with you 100%, Pernell, not that I haven't in the last 10 minutes, but the one thing I'm not 100% certain on is, you know, how pervasive it actually is, and if there's anything that we can do. But that's always something that is worth talking about.
You want to put a name on it, D-Boy?
So I tried to post the link to this Tinley Park murders. This guy murdered his 3 beautiful daughters who were in pharmacy school, murdered his wife. And it says in the article that it has nothing to do with Islam. It has to do with gender hate or bigotry and about power and control. So again, it has nothing to do with Islam. I'm not trying to divert the topic, but I'm just pointing it out that, you know, that there is heinous vulgarity and evil, wicked people out there. And, you know, if you look at, I mean, I could go deeper into this murder and why it's important to really look at, but nonetheless, I don't want to, I'm not a mod here. So I tried to post a link. I don't know if apparently it didn't come through, but you can Google it. It's Tinley Park, Muslim man murders wife and kids, if you really are interested in it. But it's the former speaker, what's-her-face, was asking me about motive. And the article says there is no Islamic motive. It's purely because of gender hate, of, you know, men hating women. And again, this is a woman who wrote the article. I mean, no critical thinking, no real analysis, no real context, no background, no ulterior motives, just strict, you know, that's my point is men cannot look to uneducated women for wisdom, advice, guidance. And, you know, it takes rooms like this to break their echo chambers and shatter their hypnosis into a million shards of a virtue signal.
I was going to ask you at first, but by you laughing, it seems you take that as a joke or nonsense, separating his, you know, hatred for women with his religion. Which I'm not blaming Islam either, but I think, you know, if like a radical Christian did something, it would be messed up to be like, oh, this has nothing to do with Christianity. He just wanted to like kill some folks.
Was that a question?
No, it was, but then it, like, I could tell that, okay, you thought it was bullshit, so.
Well, I'll say this, right? One of the things that we have in the United States is freedom of religion, but we also got laws against hurting children and killing people. So you're free to exercise your religion, but what you're not going to do is be murdering your daughters. Like, no, that's unacceptable in the United States. If you wanna be able to enjoy that privilege that is within your religion, if it is, I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying because that is the trajectory that you guys were going in. Take your ass back to your country and you could go kill your daughters over there. But here in the United States, we protect our children, or we used to, because now look at what we're doing. Look at what that article is part of the problem, right? We don't give no quarter to people for murdering their children. We don't care about your goddamn religion. And is it a culture? No, take your ass underneath the jail, bruh. And hopefully the other criminals in there kill your dumb ass for freaking murdering children. Like, that's how we deal with baby murderers, like, and children murderers.
Yeah, but that's
like,
also.
let the people be.
But Pernell, those people should be killed with capital punishment. They should be shot in a firing line or hung. I don't understand why we're spending $75,000 a year housing mass murderers. It's very simple. You know, live by the sword, die by the sword. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. We have such a democratic, woke government that there are no longer capital punishment. And we release, I believe, murderers on average like 4 years. If you commit like a second degree homicide or something, you serve like 4 years on average. I mean, America is full of recidivists, and they just keep getting back into the streets and committing the same crimes. And I mean, it's in the news every single fucking day. Oh, another woman just got murdered on the train by a guy who had been locked up and released 23 times, and somebody just gave him a no cash bail. Some female Democrat judge or some woke Republican Democrat. I mean, it's in the news every single day. We're living in a lawless society. The Constitution does not exist. There are no liberties. I mean, you can't carry a gun and defend yourself in this city. You know, if you kill somebody who tried to kill you, you'll be sued into oblivion by the NAACP. We live in clown society, clown world, and you have to wake up to that fact that most of these women do not operate outside a clown world. Every thought, every emotion, every single virtue signal, it's all clown world emotion, instability. That is who most of us live with. And most people, a lot of people in this room are technically clowns living in clown world. If you consider yourself a woke leftist, if I asked you, if I gave you a genie bottle, what would you do for we the people? You said, oh, I would equally redistribute the wealth. You are a clown living in clown world.
You think there's no rehabilitation for certain crimes?
Of course there is, but if you blow off your daughter's heads and you expect to be released after 20 years of good service, good time in jail, okay, you are also part of the problem living in clown world. That person's head should have been blown the fuck off his shoulders and thrown into a ditch and buried. That's called capital punishment. That's the system. It has to be enforced. It has to be carried out. It takes real men, not woke women, Democrat clown people who are your judges in your marriage family courts, destroying men's lives, bankrupting them, causing massive depression for people. No real re-education, no actual. If you think you're going to come out of jail rehabilitated, that requires education. And you tell me, what's the education in a prison for somebody who comes out and you want to consider them rehabilitated? You know, if you want to be educated in prison, you have to educate yourself. I mean, you have to have access to the library, obviously. So you live in clown world. I don't know what to tell you. If you think you don't live in clown world, you are a clown living in clown world. Woke people who are actually outside a clown world recognize that you live in a matrix world and most people are just clowns walking around in clown world.
It's like I was saying earlier, man. A lot of these effects that we're seeing, a lot of people, they don't realize like it's the degradation of society, and they think that it's just that the degradation of society is something that is happening because of capitalism, or it's happening because of patriarchy or some other nonsense. And it's like, no, take the time out, right? Take the time out, get out of your ideological brain, and just take a look directly at reality. And reality is this: human beings are not created in a vacuum. It starts from birth. It starts from how your parents raised you as a person. So if you think that you're going to neglect your children and they're going to just come out at 20 years as a perfect citizen, no, they're not. They're not going to come out as a perfect citizen. You have to take the time out to make sure that you're raising the people who are going to rule over you the right way. Because they are going to rule over you. You're going to get old. You're going to have to depend on them at some point, right? But you thinking that everything is hunky-dory and you just doing what you want, right? Not taking any stock to the greater society and how the individualistic things that you're doing is affecting society as a whole. And then at the end of it all, you think you're gonna sit back and have a pension and you're gonna just sit back and collect Social Security? You better think
Go dogs,
right? And that's why we having all these discussions about the beginning. And the beginning is the man and the woman right? And then the children come after. And we're literally raising the future. I hear a lot of people looking back in hindsight and be like, what's wrong with these kids today? You know what's wrong with the kids today because you had them. You were supposed to show them the right way. You were supposed to bring them up properly. But nobody wants to listen, right? You want to get your Birkin bag. You want to go out there and have your hot girl summer. You want to get your Mercedes. And the reason why I'm saying it like that is because the man, we ain't got no choice, man. If we ain't out there getting it and we ain't out there making that money, women don't want us. The probability of you getting a good woman and a woman that you want is going to be very slim if you're not ambitious and you're not providing the things that women want. And women demand that we be active and ambitious and a go-getter and a leader of men and a force to be reckoned with in the world. They love that shit. They love it. Okay? But at that same time, right? Our kids need nurturing. They need proper nutrition so their brains can develop properly. A lot of the thuggery and the bullshit that you're seeing out there is because their brains ain't developed properly. You weren't feeding them nutritious food. You was letting the schoolhouse cafeteria give them that slop. You was letting the motherfucking daycare feed them kibble and bits and shit. Right? You should be at home making sure that they have balanced meals, right?
Modern day religions such as climate change or you say progressivism, same thing. They use it as a platform so that they can further their personal political agenda. And that's the same with religion in the past. And we can observe this today with what's going on, with modern religions. Modern religions as in progressivism, Panagist, etc.
China guy, though, I know you're Singaporean, and, I just got to say, the Singaporean people buy a lot of weapons, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of weapons. You have a very advanced society, culture, city-state. How do you view yourself in global political affairs in terms of power? What are you doing for we the people?
He's not Singaporean. Chinese. He's Malay Chinese.
Don't you live in Singapore, though, China guy?
No, I'm Chinese Malaysian. I'm Chinese Malaysian, but it's immaterial. Singapore is a small nation, right? We might have disproportionate influence because being probably the wealthiest per capita nation on earth. Well, not me, but Singapore. Anyway, Malaysia and Singapore are pretty close together, so I get often mistaken as a Singaporean because of the accent, similar accent. But anyway, point being that it's
also studies show that you can't tell them apart. Even they can't tell themselves apart.
Yeah, we can't.
I mean that for all Asians.
Okay, that's a bit too far.
No, it's true. The studies show that Japanese, Koreans, and Chinese can't tell each other apart.
Yes, they can't. We can't. They can't.
That's like saying Beyonce can't tell Jay-Z apart from Damon, from Cat Williams. Come on, Diego.
They've done studies.
They. There we go again with they.
Who's they?
The scientists. The Jews.
Which ones?
The heads of my religion.
Did you see the Israeli cigarette smokers in the Gaza Strip? They lit the cigarette and said, "What did you do?" He says, "You burned down all of Gaza Strip. What did you do?" I don't know. It's not funny to laugh about, World War III, but
I didn't understand. That's why I'm not laughing. Not because I'm politically correct.
Twitter's fucked.
I'm a
Twitter.
and I didn't get it.
Twitter is amazing. Without Twitter, I don't know how you get to see all this content. Like, the federal government was definitely 100%, without a doubt, in control of Twitter. And thank God. But the thing with Fauci, have you seen this shit where they're saying they want to bring him up on murder charges? And if the Republicans, obviously nobody's going to be brought up on murder charges. So
Anyways, I just China guy. I know you're the moderator. I don't want to overstep my bounds here, but I do want to ask your question about clown world. I feel like we live in clown world, and all the elected officials are clowns. Most of the women, moral virtue signaling, social woke activists are clowns. And so how have the clowns essentially become the masters, the most powerful group of people on the planet? How has clown world developed? How has clown leadership entrenched itself? And how can we fight back against clown world?
It's awesome that you use the example of clowns. Traditionally, they are known as jesters, and the role of a jester often is that they are convenient, right, to speak truth to power traditionally. But there's a secondary role that they play, which is the jesters would it is really useful for you to use the jesters, as a political pawn. And in fact, I don't think your politicians are actually in charge. It's not been a long time now that the likes of whoever occupies the Oval Office is actually in charge. The real people that are in charge that are the special interest groups. These are the guys that are actually in charge, and they are unchanging regardless of which party gets into the Oval.
The deep state. Those that never change and were not elected.
But to the bigger question, I think what's happening in the West right now is that you guys have it good for a long time, for 200 years. And that is because you guys basically, I think of the industrialization as the next, it's the stage of civilization, right? So from Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, industrialization. You guys got there first. And therefore, being a minority, practically dominated the world for 200 years. And the World War II is a signal to an end of that. But then we still lived in a world whereby the World Bank, the IMF, all these are Western institutions, designed for the interest, to protect Western interest. And that is coming to an end. And that's why you see so much chaos. What we see as chaos, because we are at the end of Pax Americana. So when there is a country that is, by far the strongest in the world, whatever happens in any pocket in the world, you got to what would the Americans think if I do this? If Saddam invades Kuwait, you think, how are the Americans going to act? If I do that, right? But once that Pax Americana, the American peace, that super hegemon is weakened, and then you see a lot of people doing things that are not necessarily aligned with the interests of the US. And that's, I think, what's happening. And then you see, and they are a little bit more blatant. Putin, obviously, Russia is very blatant about this. NATO expansion did not happen last year or the year before, right? It happened years ago. Why didn't Putin react? Oh, because the Americans were so much more stronger than the Russians were. Now, relatively, I think, they think that the Russians could do something and the Americans probably would not have the political will to intervene, and therefore they did what they did, which is to invade Ukraine. Come on, feedback. Give me some feedback.
Everything you said is true.
That's very flattering, but not much fun. Usually a lot of Americans would be like, hell no! So America is the greatest country in the world, and that would remain the true perpetuity. That's the usual.
They do have the most people in prison, though. I mean, come on, greatest country in the world, right?
Well, we have a lot of bad guys.
Yeah.
No, but the United States has the most sophisticated legal system in the world. So, in that sense, the likelihood of the American system of law continuing on, even if the United States government fails or there's a secession movement, it'll still make this region of the world, it will remain number one for the foreseeable future.
I think there's a big gap in the US between very well-educated people and not at all educated people. And they both, I have the feeling that sometimes the people who don't have any clue what's going on, they shout the loudest. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but how does that address what I'm saying? Talking about, in order to have prosperity, you have to have rule of law, to ensure a free market. And the United States has the freest version of that. In Singapore, you can go and open a corporation authorized by the state same day, right? But in the United States, you don't even need to open a state-sanctioned company. You can create a business trust, which is a private agreement. It requires no government. So it's as long as that exists, the United States will always be a superior place. They're rapidly trying to get rid of it, but at the end of the day, right now, the United States has the best chance of continuing to be a world leader.
Why is it?
And it's a cultural thing too, because most people, the reason they don't have it in other countries is because culturally people don't believe in it in other countries. The United States still has a culture of free market ideology. It's in our DNA. And for example, our religion, our majority religion supports that too. For example, as you guys were talking about religion earlier, unlike the East, we don't develop religions that are essentially coping mechanisms to deal with an insurmountable foe of oppression. So, like, for example, Eastern philosophies are all about ceasing action in your life in order to find peace. The American, Americans mostly are Christians, and Christian is actually about taking action in order to ensure salvation in heaven. But it's a completely different philosophy. Again, I think that's another reason why we have the best chance at surviving this thing.
But don't you think that your economy has also winners and losers in a way? Because you said that it's very free and you can create a business very easily, but don't you think there's also people who lose on that side?
In short, no, because winners and losers implies that it's a zero-sum game, and that's not how economics works. Resources are scarce, but so long as people desire to achieve definite ends, they can always take an action towards that. Resources that are not as scarce that there's a constant conflict amongst people. People are still able to voluntarily associate with each other without conflict.
Okay. So you think there's an opportunity for everybody who's in the system to become more wealthy? Yes, at the same time.
Yes, it's a situation that is rapidly diminishing, but it can be reversed very quickly in the United States because it's a state of mind in the United States. There are other places in which it's beyond a state of mind in the individual that they don't have an ability to prosper. But in the United States, you do.
The dishwasher to the millionaire in a way? Is Issa gone?
I'm sorry?
Is Issa gone?
I think
I didn't realize you guys don't get along. But
she just
She just wants to talk. She doesn't want to. She's a woman, first of all. Okay.
Oh, Diego's here.
She's not a woman who realizes that she's a woman. So she wants to talk with the boy, but she just wants to be a contrarian. She never has any skin in the game, and she'll never put any skin in the game. That's why she's 40 fucking years old and barren as a peasant.
Whoa.
Come on. You don't have to like it. That's a fact. But I got what she said. And actually, I think we kind of think along the same vein, recognizing that,
Yeah, you don't know.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you said, Diego. What you said about the most sophisticated legal system. I think that's not necessarily the best thing. I think that's counterproductive. You need to be very clear in terms of rule of law, what is permissible, what is not, for sure. But when it gets so sophisticated that the average person don't recognize it, can't understand it, and the only way that you can deal with the law with government institutions is through lawyers. I think it's.
But but you're mistaken there, because that's the beauty of the American system as adopted from common law. The oldest rule after the Magna Carta was that things have to be written in a way in which the common man can understand where the line is that he has to cross in order to be in violation of the law. So that's actually, so in other words, it's called the plain meaning rule. In England, it was called the Golden Rule. And that is the foundation of how our laws are set up. So they have to be written in plain English that any person can understand. It's actually not a lawyer thing. In fact, the rules of statutory construction in the United States say that if there is a legal definition for a word and an ordinary meaning for a word, the court must choose the ordinary meaning over the legal definition.
All I'm saying is what you say something about sophisticated legal system. I think sophistication entails complexity. The more complex it is, which is the antithesis of what you're saying, right?
Okay, maybe I used the wrong word. When I mean sophisticated in its simplicity.
Let me finish. There's a reason why the U.S. has the highest per capita lawyers, attorneys in the world, right? Because you can't do anything, without the aid of an attorney, a Jewish attorney at that as well. Yeah, so in fact, then
that's what they want you to believe, but they also want you to believe that they're the smartest people in the world. They want you to believe that they were the cause of World War II, and there's a lot of myths, but it's not actually the case. And so part of this is just dispelling, like I said, a lot of the prison that people perceive is simply a prison of the mind. That's why.
You don't believe Jews control a lot of systems in America?
No, I do, but I'm saying that they control it through perception, not through actuality. In other words, the power is perceived, right?
Right. So essentially, people claim to be Jewish for this or that reason, because it aids in the perception, but in reality, it's all a facade. And at the end of the day, their allegiances are not determined by their participation in this group beyond how it benefits them, which is why I said when the Jews become the scapegoats, when Israel becomes a scapegoat for World War III, you'll find all these who proudly associated themselves with Judah, will flee like rats from a sinking ship, and they'll hastily be editing their Wikipedia pages early life to say, yeah, my mom and dad were just good old folks, I mean, it's going to happen. Like, you see it in the same way they change their names.
Here's what I'm trying to say to Shanghai China guy. What I'm trying to say is that if you perceive the foe to be insurmountable, the reason they win is because people don't fight. That's the issue. It's not because you're not capable of understanding how to fight. Okay?
That's right. If you win the mental war, fear is the mind killer. And if they cause you to fear them in their superiority, you'll never strike the first blow. And when you do strike the first blow, when you first get out in public and you start to speak, you'll see how ripe the fruit is from plucking.
In fact, isn't it a famous Asian person who said that all wars are won before they're fought?
Sun Tzu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the Palestinian war they won already before it's even fought.
I think you're right. Because they think in timelines that are millennia long. They're multi-generation timelines, whereas the Israelis think literally in the now, right? They don't have a large time window. They are reactionary. So the commitment, there's so many things working against Israel. Like, for example, every single person in that military is there voluntarily. They're free people who can leave that area and not be involved in war, so they choose to be there. The Palestinians can't leave. So psychologically, who gets more damaged? The person that has to go and go there voluntarily, not the person who has no choice.
In this context, the state of Israel exists because the West intended it to act as a fulcrum in the Middle East. Yes.
Yeah,
like not because there was an overwhelming Jewish power and influence, so much as there was a congruence of desired outcomes. Hey, well, look, if we can create an essentially white state, essentially European state in Israel, that can serve as a point where we could use to influence the Middle East in perpetuity.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the thing is this, right? I think a lot of Jewish people do not understand, they are doing this, their hostility towards the Palestinians, it's at their own detriment, because at the end of the day, hold on, Habibi, they are surrounded by Arab Muslims, right? I mean, that's something that they can't change. And I think the Israeli government under Benjamin Netanyahu, believe it or not, he is supposedly not the most far right. He is considered moderate in Israeli politics. And he's doing this in such urgency.
But his Congress is far right.
Hold on. Men are talking here. So I think he is doing this in such urgency because he feels that he realizes Israel cannot exist without being backed up by the Anglo-Americans, maybe the British or the early Americans, right? And to what I was saying earlier, that we are at the end of Pax Americana. That may not be the case 10 years from now. So they are doing this when they think they still can pull it off, while America is still substantially influential.
But we're at the end of Judeo-Christian Pax.
Whoa.
And we're separating Christian from Judeo. That's what's happening here.
Diego, there's no such thing as Judeo-Christian values. It's a joke.
Yeah, I know. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. He's saying that essentially the conflation, the erroneous but intentional conflation of Judaism and Christianity has allowed for this kind of muddying of the waters and allowing of this continual support for the state of Israel, ostensibly because our recognition of our shared values, when essentially it works purely at a economic level to control resources in the Middle East, to exploit those populations. And what's happening now is that this separation, the necessary and appropriate separation, the discernment of the what is the word I'm looking for? The fact that Judaism and Christianity are completely opposed to one another. They cannot coexist. If you actually understand Judaism, you actually understand Christianity, you can't have them in the same basket. You can't conflate them. And as that recognition and awareness rises, as Diego was saying, that's happening right now. And I'm telling you, Israel is going to be the fucking scapegoat. Jews are going to be the scapegoat again. I mean, you can see it happening.
Only once, though.
Well, look,
the
money changers, Diego, the money changers, JP Diamond and his ilk, these central bankers, they are happy to hide behind the idea that the Jews are responsible for this, that it's some kind of uniquely Jewish ideal. But the European, regardless of race, color, or creed, greed is not bound. And it pervades. So they're happy to throw Janet Yellen under the bus because she happens to be Jewish. They're happy to do that. And they're happy to have you braying at the bit to engage in a tactical error and assigning responsibility wholly and totally to people of Jewish descent, when in fact it's greed and fraud, and that is not an immutable characteristic.
And they're not Jewish, so changing the narrative to Zionist.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That they're not inherently Jewish. They're not. It's a choice to be greedy. It's a decision to act in this way, to engage with fraud. But it's a smokescreen to throw up the fact that, oh, I'm Jewish. Oh, they're Jewish, and to act as if that is the problem. The problem is debt slavery through interest on money.
I think Israel's gone within the next 10 years. It ceased to exist.
Your time was a little bit fast, but I'll agree with you on that. I said 20 years.
You don't think things have been expedited?
It's over already. It's already over. I mean,
yeah, the narrative war it's done. Like,
yeah, it's like kind of like what China is saying about the United States too. It's like, what are the chances that we're going to have a presidential debate, 3 presidential debates amongst Trump and Biden? Probably not. So, are the elections legitimate? Probably not.
Well, probably not. No, I mean we can fairly say that elections are not legitimate. You know, in a very Lysander Spooner sense, because regardless of whether or not you vote, you're going to be bound by a system that has already shown you that it does not respect the consent of the governed as a necessary criteria for the government's authority. So there's no outcome of the election, or that is relevant. You know what Texas is doing, issuing a letter saying that, clearly. I mean, Abbott says he handed a letter personally to the president saying you as the highest executive responsible for the executive branch have violated your oath to the Constitution. Is it's part of the correct and necessary breakdown of the empire into all the smaller elements that can be properly administered, right? Aaron McIntyre in his book The Total State talks about this. There's a book going around right now, the collapse of complex societies. And they're all essentially pointing out that, we can look at empires that have achieved the size and scale of the West, TM, or the United States individually. But what we can't lose sight of is that regardless of who you vote for, Republicans, Democrats, or Independents, no matter who takes office, they're going to be functioning within a system that has no concern for consistency with the political philosophy expressed in the Constitution. And that's not debatable. It's not debatable. The only actual conversation worth having is not about which candidate should debate who and who we ought to support. It's how do we re-engage locally? How do we commit ourselves to a political philosophy that we believe
first kick out the Zionists.
A man is speaking.
Oh my God.
And when you stop with the rhetoric about who's going to be president, and you're able to separate yourself from that what is that, the 2 minutes of hate, that mass psychosis event, you start to understand how helpless you really are, how few friends you actually have, who you've had conversations with, who understand when it's time to go, when it's time to lock and load, when it's time to stand up for your rights, and when your rights have been infringed, what are your remedies? Essentially, federal law has regulated more things than could have ever been imagined. It's not Hans. I think it is Hans Hermann Hoppe. Hans Hermann Hoppe, who I sent you a clip of this, Diego. There's an excerpt from a larger talk he did where he's talking specifically about the increase in federal legislation over the last 50 years. The pages of the Federal Register, which is supposed to be a conclusive list of every federal law in existence, which has clearly violated the doctrine that you just expressed, where there's supposed to be a plain and clear understanding. And again, I say this all the time, and I don't know why I don't hear anyone else saying this, because it's essential to understanding the political philosophy of this great country, or once great country. It's written in English so that everyone can understand and verify, audit. The constraints are properly being applied to the government at every level, from the local, state, and federal levels. And so they would understand what is their obligation and necessary response to infringement or a failure to be properly constrained by the Constitution.
Diogenes, but I think I brought this up too. The Chevron deference is likely going to be struck down by the Supreme Court, and that
the Supreme Court means nothing. Allowing this, so again, we allowed the Supreme Court to have an authority that it cannot have. It is very clear to every man, woman, and child who understands liberty that the Supreme Court does not rule you. The Supreme Court does not get to rule one way and then the other, and as they rule, change the law. The law is the law. And we can have arguments about what the law was intended to say, but we can't argue what the law actually says and what the plain language of the law evokes. And in this case, the Supreme Court...
One more thing there, which is the plain language at the time that the statute was enacted and the Constitution was written, which is important too.
That's right, yes. And that's why I use an 1800s dictionary whenever I'm getting into an argument with somebody about what is intended. You have to do it. But you're right. So the Supreme Court, in overturning the Chevron, established
not a living constitution
doctrine. Right. It's not. And you can't have a living law. People, right, that's a great point, right? Because your political science professor is going to tell you it's a living document and that's what gives it its power. No, it's an inert piece of paper with words on it, and you have the ability to edit it under specific criteria when they have been met, and once you've edited it, it goes right back to being dead words on a piece of fucking paper. It is not alive in any sense. It is we, the people, who are alive and are imbued with the necessary power to abide by it and to give it life. It cannot ever take on a life of its own. And so that's a great way that we've shoehorned ourselves into a corner to our own detriment by having this conception constantly put to us in whatever remains of civics classes, political science classes, where they tell us it's a living document. That's a profound trick, because it's not alive.
Yeah, because all they have to do then is propagandize the community, change the meaning of words.
I forget the term. Yeah, what's the term? To rule from the bench. Ex verde, or what is the term? There's a term. There's a Latin term for ruling from the bench. And essentially, when they convince you that it's a living document, which again, if I asked, 9 out of 10 people would say it is a living document. Yeah, it's a living document. Through the amendment process, it is alive. It's like, no, it's not alive, because as you just said, Diego, law cannot function properly if it can be interpreted one way today and another way tomorrow. Then you are not ruled by law, you are ruled by fiat. You are ruled by avarice. You are ruled by whims. You are ruled by power, not by law. You are ruled by the people who have the tools to determine what the law says today, and who will then change it and determine what the law says tomorrow. And the law will change with every change in the Supreme Court's Constitution, and this is not the rule of law and order that we were bequeathed with the Constitution.
And it's important to say, this is why I'm trying to say to the China guy, like, a lot of countries don't have it. Like, Israel has no constitution, for example. So their laws really are like these evolving things that kind of go with like the whims. And that's one of the reasons why that country's probably going to be over pretty soon, as the Arab population grows and explodes into their, Jewish-only areas. They're going to just evolve their legislature, and basically, like, eventually it won't be a Jewish country. But in our country, we have a fundamentally conservative system designed to prevent chaos into the system.
So, Diego, the term is ex cathedra. It's from the chair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a Catholic term.
Yeah, I was going to say the Catholic term, like from the Pope.
Yeah. there's a very good movie I'd like to recommend to everybody called A Man for All Seasons about the trials.
Hold on, I'm just going to put a pin here. It took you roughly 25 minutes before you brought up your first film.
But it's the movie about the trials of St. Thomas More, who refused to acknowledge the divorce of the king, and basically there's this great line amongst the movie's just packed full of great lines, but apropos to what we're talking about, there's this great line where they say, in their beautiful English, they say, "What are men? What is the common man to wit from from your silence, Mr. Moore?" And he says, "The common man, can be left to their wits, but this court is bound to the law." And so, he's like saying, like, for example, silence in English law is to be interpreted as consent, not denial. So he just,
what is this movie called?
It's called A Man for All Seasons. It won 10 Oscars in 1966. It is shadow banned by the anti-Catholic, sentiment of the United States. Like, people don't really mention it anymore. You don't see it like, when you watch the Oscars, they never show you clips from that movie when they're doing, like, clips of the 100 years of movies. But the movie is fantastic, and it's fantastic from a legal perspective. It's very elegant, because he was a lawyer and the Lord Chancellor of England. And it also has a really nice piece of justice, because the guy that prosecuted him, Oliver Cromwell, 5 years after he got Thomas beheaded, was himself beheaded. So even though they don't show you that part, kind of sweet justice.
Karma. Yeah. You know which one of them went to the grave and ought to be a lion? What was this? St. Thomas?
Oh, by the way, Oliver Cromwell. It's just an interesting piece of news, of information. Oliver Cromwell was the one who had the king remove the edict of expulsion of the Jews. Just a curious.
Just a little side note that you've got an individual who's standing on principle and in the face of tremendous pressure, tremendous power. He's speaking truth to power, legitimately saying, "I'm not going to grant a violation of the law because of your power and authority. The law is the law." And then you have a Jew who's trying to undermine it. So what is what a good little claim. Who is the protagonist in this, The Man for All Seasons?
It's Thomas More.
Thomas More. Okay.
Saint Thomas More.
Saint is already martyrdom.
Martyrdom.
He's talking about we're all slaves to the.
Everyone say nigger on a three. Everyone say nigger. Anyone else say nigger? Okay, on three. 1, 2, 3. Nigger. Nigger. Whoever doesn't say it, big man. Going back to what we were talking about.
That's what I think Mr. Gibbs thinking. Oh, no, he's a leader.
No, I know that's right. We're going to participate in a group recitation. Participation in group recitation of all the words that would get us clipped, so that we're all collectively in the same boat.
Listen, it's in their book. It's not like we're.
At the point where you're worried about getting clipped, Mr. Musanda, the point that you're not going to speak truth because Mr. Musanda, because you're worried about getting clipped, that you've lost your credibility. Like that's what we're talking about. St. Thomas More is saying, I don't care if you threaten my life. I understand that the law is the law, and you can put me on a show trial. You can hang me. You can convict me. Do what you will, but I will go to my grave having believed in and stood for something larger than myself. And that is divine. And that is properly sanctioned for that. And that is what it means to say fuck the Jews, fuck the niggers, fuck the kites. God the things.
I think it's, I'll grab the quote from the movie. The movie's just jam-packed full of quotes, but I think you'll like this one because he's talking about fiat.
Some men Dennis, you gotta read it again. You cut out, man.
I told you.
Okay. This you see, we're talking about rule of law, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this: what do you think is the point of law? What do you think is the point of?
To bring order.
Oh, you got to extrapolate. Oh.
Legally, to human nature. Hello? You gotta read that quote though. I'm figuring it out for like 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm trying to reclaim the mic so I can drop this quote, which is just a second, guy. Go ahead, Diane.
Clearly, the gods do not want this.
I know. I don't know if he's cutting out or if he's getting a call.
It's the Jews! Tell me when you can hear me, Diego.
We can hear you.
Some men think the earth is round and others think it is flat.
Oh my god, he's cutting out again.
Oh my god.
I'll read it. Some men think that the earth is round, others think it flat. It is a matter capable of question. But if it is flat, will the king's command make it round? And if it is round, will the king's command flatten it? No, I will not sign.
And it
Basically,
this
Wait, where's that
we
from?
derive. It is from this that we derive the political philosophy expressed in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States of America. That the law is the law and it is descended from a higher power than a man or any group of men.
Right, so that when a law is in violation, essentially, of God's law, it is not law, but rather an erect.
And thus, the Supreme Court and its ruling on Chevron one way or the other is completely irrelevant and is our duty and responsibility. Not just our duty, but our what is the term I'm looking for? There's someone who spoke this more eloquently than I could. But when a law is in contradiction to the Constitution, it is not only appropriate, but it is our duty to reject it entirely, to nullify it through our complete dismissal of it.
Yeah, but that responsibility does not lie with you. It lies with the Supreme Court to interpret the Constitution.
No, it actually doesn't. That's the beauty of the United States. We the people give them the power, not the other way around.
Right. And so when they are in error, we have a responsibility to nullify their error.
Another way of interpreting, your law. I mean, that's the reason why this.
No. This is essential. Like you don't understand the United States. You don't understand the political philosophy of the United States if you think that the Supreme Court can rule two ways on a single issue and in both instances be correct.
I mean, it depends who said it.
Diego already said it. The entire political philosophy can be succinctly summarized that the people retain all of the power and they only voluntarily lend it to different authorities at different levels, and it's reaching its zenith in the federal government, but at any time, they may take back those powers unto themselves. And at the point where the federal government acts in contradiction to the laws of God, to the laws of the divine, it is not only appropriate but necessary that we the people reclaim our authority, rescind our consent to be so governed.
That's the idea. It doesn't matter what your constitution says, but that interpretation is rather idealistic, I would say. Right? It goes back to my previous question, which is what do you think the point of law is? Right? What do you think? Why legislate? Why even bother to legislate? Why is it important to society? It's a very broad question. I understand.
Oh, no, obviously, legislation is one case, but here's how you have to understand the system that we have. Because we are a constitutional government, it says right in the Constitution that the power was granted that the power is reserved to the people. That's the language that it says in the Constitution. And when you have a case or controversy in court, then that's a different thing. That is akin to a contract. I'll explain to you. Like in a contract between two people, they create a system of governance called an operating agreement. which has consequences and stipulations, limitations, powers, and disabilities, right? Well, the same thing happens in a court. So in a courtroom, when a judge adjudicates on a matter, a case or controversy, that is the law under that court for that case. But it is not the law of the land. The only law of the land is the Constitution of the United States. In other words, the judiciary exists under the Constitution. It's not before it, not to its side, it's not there. It is under, say that again, obligated to uphold the Constitution. Can you say that again? Yeah, the United States, in the United States, when a judge adjudicates on a matter, criminal or civil, that is the law within that case, but it is not the law of the land, and it holds no power over any other case or controversy in another trial. Okay. Right. But it is. But we obviously see how that is. We are not obligated. We're not obligated to basically stumble where another case has stumbled in the United States. That's the beauty of our system. Right. We are. Yeah. But that is obviously just like with medicine. Essentially, what people do when they're being lazy and they don't want to take responsibility for their judgments, they say, "Well, I'll just cite all of these other cases, and then if you want to say I'm wrong, you have to say that they were wrong." It's like, well, they could be wrong because essentially, your error should not be infinitely compounded into ever increasing, dizzying displays of wrong, of unlawfulness. So, which is what exactly happens with the Supreme Court, where if they decide to overturn the Chevron doctrine, which, if I understand, the Chevron doctrine was, it had to do with that the necessary and proper right in a way, did not? Like they have the authority to. What is it that? I'm going to look up the Chevron doctrine. I know it's going to come to my mind.
Okay, I'd like to zoom out here for a moment, right? It goes back to what the question that I asked. What's the point of law? I'm sure you guys, all of you are aware of the Code of Hammurabi, right? First, recorded human law that still exists. So, in the Code of Hammurabi, because they have deciphered the cuneiform form, they figured out what they were talking about. So there's this part whereby it's how a judge, and the judge happened to be the priest, will determine, who is lying, the plaintiff or the defendant. So what is done is that they get a burning hot copper rod, right? And then they place the burning hot copper rod on the tongue of both the defendant and the plaintiff. And by the power vested in him, God, the God that nobody worships today, of course, right? The priest and also the judge would rub his thumb on the scorched tongues of both the plaintiff and the defendant, and somehow figure out, because the power vested in him by their gods, figure out who is telling the truth and who's lying.
But you understand essentially what that's saying, China guy, in practice, because people are not smarter today than they were at the time of Hammurabi, and they are not stupider today than they were at the time of Hammurabi. Regardless of the Flynn effect, regardless of what Jew media will try to convince you of one day, convince you of the opposite the next, the fact remains that we have been, I think, relatively consistent with different technologies and motivations influencing our perceptions more profoundly than any real measurable changes. And those measurements, again, are never consistent across time because we're constantly reinventing the measurement tool, just like the Federal Reserve's reporting of data regarding core price inflation. But we'll leave that aside. What they're essentially saying is, if you come before a judge and y'all are fucking lying your asses off, I do this with my employees, we're gonna fuck you up like nobody's walking out unscathed. You're both getting fucked up. And I just had a conversation with my employees last night. They're like, and they were fucking around.
I like the part. And that is the point, right?
Yeah, exactly. The point is, y'all get, and this is exactly what I told my guys. They were arguing with me, and I told them, look, you all get together. Don't come to me. Don't talk to me. I don't want to hear anything from you. You all go sit together for an hour and get your fucking story straight. Tell me, I want to hear consonants. I want to hear a narrative that everyone co-signs, everyone agrees with, that is consistent. Because if there's dissonance, y'all are getting fucked up. Nothing's going to see. Everybody's going to lose pay. People are going to get fired. It's going to be fucking terrible.
Oh yeah, I get it. That's not, and you're absolutely right. But the whole point is that you guys got disputes. You figure it among yourselves. You come to the authorities. Both will have to pay. There is a comp, of getting the state involved in your disputes. So, I mean, it's true today, you know, the legal fees are prohibitive. Well, okay, that's it. That's another layer to it, which is that it means that justice is not for the sake of justice. It means that the perception of justice is what's more important. Because at the end of the day, what from the perspective of the authorities, from the rulers, from the kings, is that they want to create this perception that this is the land of rule of law. I mean, this is what, you know, all governments, especially the American one, always talk about. The perception of a rule of law. That's more important because that allows people to go on with their daily basis. They think that if they, you know, abide all the rules stipulated, they'll be fine. And if they violate those rules, and then the law will come at them. Right? That's the point of having a perception that
you have to maintain. You have to maintain the collective consciousness that the law is something that is applied equally and consistently, because that produces the kind of predictability necessary for civilization.
So,
that is a precursor.
So people continue to pay the taxes that he could, like, you know, tax pay.
Right, yes,
So,
exactly.
So what's been happening, you know, few events that is so crucial. I think you guys are aware, you know, the Jeffrey Epstein thing. It's like so obvious that, you know, America is not the land of rule of law that, you know, most people perceive it to be. Even Americans now is like doubting that. Are you still in the land of law? And the other one is like, you know, I mean, a lot of things, perception is actually more important than reality. The other thing is like corruption. You think about it, which is, I was asking Tim earlier, and Tim is from Germany, which do you think is the most corrupt country in the world? Tim was saying, oh, maybe some country in Africa. Yeah, really? US alone, Defense Department, has trillions, literally trillions of dollars unaccounted for. Where do you go? Corrupted. You can't displace trillions of dollars.
The scale of the United States corruption
is the more corrupt country in the world, and that is just one department. You know, never mind the other ones that we don't know about. They're never going to ever get.
Yeah, and in a single day, you know, if you're measuring in, you know, by any measurement, they're capable and practicing far more corruption. You know, $1 trillion worth of corruption would take every African nation working overtime and openly engaging in corruption in several years, where it takes a stroke of a pen, a couple of seconds at the Department of Defense. Yeah, but yeah. So the perception that the law is being fairly and consistently
I don't know if you're still talking, Jenny, so maybe you're preoccupied, but your mic is muted. And we eagerly anticipate what you have to say. In the meantime, Diego, what do you think? What I said? gentlemen's. Okay. Gentlemen. Just gentlemen.
My English is not the yellow from the egg, Germany we say.
Ah, you're German. Do you know Tim?
Yes, I know him. I know Ends too.
Yeah, I talk to Ants quite frequently too. Diogenes was saying something, and in the middle, I think he had, I guess attention was called elsewhere. So we're eagerly anticipating what he was going to say.
Oh, how's this going over here? How's the better? Killing it. All right, here we go.
What country was Noriega? Do you know? Don't Google it.
I forget exactly.
So you don't even know what country. You don't even know what country. You don't know our relationship with that country.
Can we look it up?
Yeah, it's Panama.
Being honest and transparent,
it's Panama.
You just kind of sound like
okay, good. Good.
You know,
Yeah, so
Hermes, do you know that there's ramifications when you accuse someone falsely of a crime? Do you know that that's not something that's protected in this country? That you actually can have liability when you do that? Do you know?
Absolutely, and I'm willing to stand on my ground. I'm willing to stand on my ground and take whatever fire. I'm used to it. It ain't nothing new for me.
All right, so
So you
hold
go
on.
after and be
Hold
sued
on
for
a second.
defamation?
Hold
You
on.
get sued a lot for defamation.
If he's willing to get sued, let him get sued. But I know Steve has been patiently waiting. Steve, you want to say
Sorry
something?
for that, but can we go back to the terrorist issue, because there really is an issue with that, and they're not talking about it. And as I said, I put some stuff in the chat, but you have to tie the two things together, that we're at a heightened alert generally right now in this country of fear of a terrorist act on our soil domestically, and we're seeing a huge influx of terrorist watch list individuals crossing through
So,
the
Abby,
northern
what's your
southern
opinion?
border.
What's the solution to? Because obviously there's an immigration problem. Abby, I'm asking you directly. Forget politics, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, I don't give a. What's the answer, Abby?
You gotta tighten up the borders. You have to totally tighten up the borders. Immigration has built this country. I could start reciting Emma Lazarus if you want. It's a beautiful part of our nation, but it has to be done legally, and it has to be done where it's a benefit to this country, not a burden on the country. When someone was talking earlier about the requirements of becoming a legal immigrant, and you have to have a sponsor. You have to show you're not a financial burden on the nation. It's different than the asylum seekers, but what you have to do is it's got to be cleaned up. It's got to be tightened. I live in a state that's near the border. We have a big issue here. Someone put this in the chat, and I responded to it. You can register to vote at the DMV when you get a driver's license. We have non-citizens that are, when they're getting their driver's license, are ending up with registration to vote. It's the problem goes much deeper because you lose the controls. We also have a state where you have a huge culinary union. You have unions that are pushing for more votes for their candidates, and they're not enforcing this. There is, by the way, federal. I forget what the penalty is. Someone can help me on the price. it might be 3,000 or 10,000 for each individual that is employed, that's undocumented, to the companies that employ them. I mean, there are penalties that exist within the law if you do this, but we're just turning a blind eye to it, and those should be enforced as well.
I want to build on what Abby said, because one of the answers is not to offer illegal immigrants universal health care. I put in the group chat about 5 minutes ago, California, Governor Gavin Newsom, first state in the union to offer illegal immigrants universal health care, aka Medi-Cal. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against emergency health care. If somebody gets in a car accident, they need an emergency surgery, I'm happy for my tax dollars to pay for it. But when you have close to 40 million people in California and over 10% are uninsured because they can't afford it, California, not only a sanctuary state, is now going to offer illegal immigrants universal health care. This, in my mind, is completely ridiculous. And again, I posted in the group chat. It was national news about a month ago. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you, Abby.
There's no, Jay, one thing to what Steve said, there's no room in the hospitals in Eagle Pass. If you talk to people, and Marshall comes on sometimes, I'll tell you, there's a problem for the residents that live along the border areas in Texas, because their health, the hospitals are full, and it's a crisis level for them.
Hey, Jay, can I go back to something you said that I thought was very insightful?
Go ahead. That's a first.
That basically, you said take the restaurant industry just for one, and I'm sure there are countless others like it, that couldn't function without undocumented folks, right? Like you just, like if you, like the economic engine just wouldn't work anymore. So what do we do when you need these people, right? I mean, and they're not going to do a complex process for low-wage jobs, which we need them to do. They're not going to sort of, apply for asylum or do complex green card applications and stuff to get, rudimentary jobs, which we need them to do. I mean, what's the solution? I don't know. Like I said, one thing you could do is just criminalize severely people that hire them. We're not going to do that. We're not going to stop these people completely because we need them for the economy. What's the solution without the economy grinding to a halt?
Scott, you also have to put Americans to work. There's so many people that just don't want to work anymore. You also have that problem.
Well, we can't force them to work, or we can't force people to say, hey, you're going to do a dishwashing job. These folks are meeting a need that desperately is needed in the economy. I mean,